you can have a relationship with a horse. So she really loves... No, not like that, you idiot.
After-hours football debate for poachers, private eyes...
Could I ask you something personal?
...and pole dancers.
I might market for business, love.
Mike Graham's been all three at some point in his career.
Oh, really, you great big sweaty bush idiot?
And I'll tell you what, you were a better pole dancer than presenter, I can tell you that.
The Two Mikes on Talk Sport.
It's a naked bloke flashing his ghoulies without a head and only half an arm. We went to Penzance because we thought we'd see some pirates, and then it was a dump. Absolute pit.
Went to Penzance to see if there are any pirates there.
Yeah.
What a plague.
Look at the light!
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes, and I'm delighted to say it's time to say a very, very good morning to Mr. Mike Porky Parry. Very good morning to you, Mr. Parry.
And a very good morning to you, Mike. And I have to say, what an exciting, really, really exciting chapter of football history
Riveting.
that we're going to at the moment,
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Talking about history, by the way, a
Yeah.
bit later on in the show, I'm going to talk to you about the Battle of Bannockburn.
Are you?
You don't know how significant the Battle of Bannockburn was.
Well, I know it was pretty significant.
No, it was more significant than even you and I think it was. I
Right.
found out from reading
I
my...
thought you told me years ago that
What?
there was no Battle of Bannockburn.
Well, there was. I found out that there was,
Yeah,
and
that's what I told you.
And from reading my historic journals,
Yeah.
something absolutely major happened at the Battle of Bannockburn, which
yeah.
I'm going to tell you about during the course of the show. Okay.
Excellent. Well, let's hope it's not a load of old Bannocks.
Now. What happened in the world of football yesterday evening?
Well done on the Porky Jinx, by the way. You've upset an awful lot of Spurs fans.
No, not
You
at all.
tipped them last night to win the league, and the first thing that happens is they go to West Ham
Yeah.
and they lose 1-0.
Well, I'm afraid you've got to be open-minded about these things. Now, this morning, if
There's
you
been
remember...
a lot of calls, including one from our executive producer,
Yes.
for you to please tip Leicester to win the league.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right, OK. I can't understand the tactics there, or the philosophy.
Arsenal. Well, the tactics being that every time you tip anybody to win anything,
Yes.
they never do.
Well, most of my predictions at weekends, or at least I would say 8 out of 10 of them, are near right.
Do you know where you are on the Selco predictor?
Yes, but we're not talking about
You've got
the
minus
predictor.
25 points.
Now, listen, what I want to talk to you about is this.
As of an available total
As you
of
know-
about 2,000.
As you know, on a Wednesday morning, I review the papers on the Mr. Brazil breakfast
I
show,
don't
okay?
usually listen to that.
Why not?
I'm usually asleep by then.
Yeah, well, I can imagine that being the case. Your bladderation technique after we finish the show here is rather severe.
No, it isn't. No,
anyway.
what happens is I get home at 6:30.
Yeah.
I usually have maybe a bit of toast or something, and I go to bed.
Yeah, that's what you say.
So they do with bladderation.
Anyway, listen,
You been to a pub today?
What?
You've been to a pub
No,
today?
I've not been to a pub today.
So that's 2 days in a row then.
Yeah,
well done.
well,
the old
no.
12-step programme's going well.
No, it's usually 4 days in a row that I don't go to a pub.
4 days in a row?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I very rarely go to a licensed premise, okay?
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
very rarely.
Okay.
I might do tomorrow. Now then,
Friday.
Oh, no, I mean today, Thursday, yeah. Now, what I was going to say is this, right? So I'm reviewing the papers, and I roundly mocked this opener, this first paragraph of what, and I'm not going to say which national newspaper it is, don't want to embarrass anybody.
No, of course.
But this was the opener after Leicester 2, West Brom 2 the night before,
Yeah,
okay?
right.
And it said... Claudio Ranieri saw Leicester's title hopes suffer a devastating blow.
Yeah.
As Craig Gardner's stunning free kick opened the door for Spurs. I said then, when I read that out, I said, that is really an extreme way to look at a Leicester-West Brom draw 2-2. I said, anything could happen.
Is that really what you said?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Is it?
I said, anything could happen tonight, i.e. last night. You see
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
And, of course, it all came to pass that it did happen, and Leicester now, in fact, are further ahead.
There's nothing like making
Further
bold.
ahead
There's nothing like
than
making.
they
What's
were
wrong with
then.
your eyes, by the way?
What?
What's wrong with your eyes?
Well,
Why
it's
are you
very
rubbing your
warm
eyes?
for some unknown reason in this studio. I don't know what the
Well,
previous occupants
it's
were
not
doing.
for some unknown reason. It's because they've turned the temperature up.
Perhaps
That's
they
the
wanted a
reason.
sauna bath or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. How can people work in that sort of temperature?
I don't know. Gee, are you going to need some assistance?
And I'm afraid
Do you want a damp cloth or something.
No, it's made my eyes smart. But
No.
anyway, there we go.
Well, it's the only part of you that is smart.
Do you honestly have to kick the show off with some of your infantile, childish little
you
quips?
just set them up for me. I'm going to hit them out of the park.
Yeah.
It was a very, very brave thing for you to say that, wasn't it?
What was
on
that?
The sports breakfast, as you were doing your pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh, anything could happen tonight.
Yes.
Well, it's hardly a prediction, is it?
Well, anything
could happen tonight.
But everything did happen, didn't it? It was marvellous. I mean, the situation now
Even
regarding...
Louis van Gaal managed to get a win. Nobody else did.
Louis van Gaal. Oh, by the way, our diving went viral.
Did it?
It has gone viral.
Yeah, good.
Our demonstrations of the Louis van Gaal dive to the floor has, I'm delighted to say, gone around the world.
Excellent.
And I had all sorts of communications about it today.
Did you?
I have been asked.
A couple of people were asking for where to find it, actually, and the easiest place to find it at the moment is on Facebook, because it was on Twitter a couple of days ago, unless you can be bothered going all the way back to look for it.
Yes.
The best place to find it at the moment is Facebook, because we haven't put it on Too Much TV yet, I don't think.
Well, shouldn't we?
Well, we should, yeah.
Yeah, we should, yeah.
We should.
Yeah, we should, because what I was being asked today, by the way, the tickets for the Dance House in Manchester, that's the Two Mics Live.
By the way, what?
April 9th.
Yeah.
Well, it's got this to do with it.
What?
I'm being asked by people who've bought them, by the way, will you and MG be doing the Louis van Gaal dive live on stage?
Oh, right.
Right?
I'm not sure that we'd have the health and safety certification for that.
Well, what worries me is that you did a dive like that on any stage, you smash the stage to pieces, you go straight through it. Because you are of a certain bulk.
As I've often said, I'm more than happy to have a weighing contest with you.
Oh,
All you have to do is tell
Anytime.
me how much you think. So if I bring a weighing scale in, you'll be happy to stand on it.
I can't do that.
What do you mean you can't do it?
I can't do it.
Why not?
I'm an outpatient at Harefield Hospital, and I have to be strictly weighed.
You should be an inpatient at Broadmoor.
No, I'm going to ignore that because it's just a ridiculous piece of futile nonsense. Because, by the way, we're going to be talking to Sandra down in Sydney, aren't we, during the course of the show?
No, tomorrow.
Eh?
That's tomorrow's show.
Oh, is it?
That's tonight's show. No, tonight we've got a dating expert on.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
To see if we can find someone
that's good.
without spending 18 grand.
That's good.
So we can find you the first Mrs. Parry.
No, that's good, because I've got information on that. I've also got information on a breakthrough, a medical breakthrough, which stops people like you going grey in their old age.
Going grey?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've gone particularly grey. I mean, it's pretty good coming from you. You've gone white. I mean, your hair is white.
No, it's not.
I mean, you've talked very sort of fondly, and I remember it well as well, when you had very sort of all-burnish red hair, quite stunning red hair, and a red beard.
Yes, that's true.
Which has all now disappeared, because now it's completely white.
That's true.
There's no point in denying it.
I rinse it this colour because it looks better.
You rinse it?
Seriously, it was salt and peppery, I decided to, make it all one colour.
Why would you worry about that?
What?
Why are you so vain?
I'm not vain about anything.
Well, if you rinse your hair with some kind of colour,
we should be concentrating.
That makes you vain.
We should be concentrating on the results. I mean, Arsenal now completely imploded, as they do at every time in this season, haven't they? Now, West Ham, was that a lucky result tonight?
I don't think it was,
Or is Slaven Bilic the real deal?
Well, what I said yesterday was that, all these people saying, the door is now open for Spurs to go top of the league. I said, I think Spurs will be lucky to get a draw. I said, I think they'll be lucky to get a point.
I told Mr. Brazil and Ray Poll Newcastle are going down. They said, no, they'll get out of it. It'll be somebody else. I said it'll be Villa, Newcastle and Norwich. And guess what?
Yeah.
The three teams below the trapdoor at the moment are Villa, Newcastle and Norwich.
Yes.
I think Sunderland will get out of it because I think Sam has got more resilience as a manager than Steve McLaren, even though they've got a tougher run-in.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, Liverpool 3, City 0. Who did not score for City again?
Raheem Sterling.
Thank you very much indeed. How many goals has he scored this season?
He scored 5.
And what did I say at the start of the season?
You said he wouldn't score 5.
I said he'll score no more than 5.
No, you said he would not score 5.
And by the way, in that prediction that he'll score no more than 5, if I'd have said...
it wasn't that. No, you see, this is a very important difference,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You did not say he will not score more than 5.
I said he won't score...
You said he won't score 5.
I said he won't score in 5 games.
No, you said he won't score
and guess
5
what?
goals.
And guess what? Guess how many games he has scored in?
But the point is that...
How many games has he scored in?
Look, it doesn't matter.
3.
It doesn't matter.
Because he scored a hat-trick and then 2 single goals.
It doesn't matter.
So my prediction that he will score, he won't score in 5 games.
You see, again, you're making a mockery of your own prediction.
No, I'm not.
It's perfectly good for you to claim credit, to say, look how few goals Raheem Sterling has scored.
Yes.
Because I predicted that he would probably not score 5 goals.
That's right.
That's what you should say. Instead of pretending that you said, I said he wouldn't score more than 5.
No, I said he won't score in 5 games.
Well, I'm going to have to now... You're forcing me now to find the original tweet.
No, he won't score in 5 games.
You are forcing me to find the original tweet.
He got a freak hat-trick in 1 game and he scored 2 other goals.
You're changing the subject.
He's only scored in 3 Premier League games. I once again have been proved right.
Well, you have been proved right, but why gild the lily? Why don't you just say, I actually said that he wouldn't score 5 goals. Actually, he scored 1 more than I said he would score.
I'm a bit fed up that Manchester City just gifted Liverpool 3 points tonight. I really am. Well, because, you look at the position in the table, Liverpool have got 3 points more than Everton. That's because they were gifted 3 points by City.
Here, I give you your original tweet.
Yes.
Shall I read it to you?
It's not relevant.
Raheem Sterling, it was posted on the 16th of August 2015. Yes. You should be very proud of this.
Right, go on.
Instead of lying about it, you might as well just admit that you've said this. Raheem Sterling will not score 5 Premier League goals this season.
Mm-hmm.
But can anybody predict when he might score the first of his 4, please?
Yes.
So that's very clear. You said he would score 4 goals.
No, I said if you interpret it, it means he won't score in 5 Premier League games, and he won't score more than 5. And I think most of the audience, most of the millions...
Interpret it. It says Raheem Sterling will not score 5 Premier League goals this season. That's what it says.
I think most of the audience, the millions of people who listen to us each night around the world. By the way, do you know our DVD has now been downloaded in 39 different countries?
Has it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The latest being Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi?
That's Qatar. Qatar, yeah.
Abu Dhabi, no, it's one of the Emirates, isn't it?
Abu Dhabi is the capital of Qatar. Which is UAE.
Doha is in Qatar.
Oh, yeah. Well, sorry, Abu Dhabi. Yeah, it is Abu Dhabi. It is Abu Dhabi.
They have a Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi.
It is Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi is a separate emirate.
It is Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. Are you sure you've counted the numbers right? Have you seen the time, by the way?
Saudi Arabia yesterday.
What about Ulaanbaatar?
No, that's out of Mongolia. Yeah. Hasn't reached there yet.
No?
But,
you can get it there if you want.
Sri Lanka, yeah, you can, yeah. Oh, you can download it anywhere. Anywhere you speak English. Yeah.
Anywhere you speak English?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
What's that got to do with it?
Well, it is in English. We haven't yet, translated it into...
Oh, well, that'll be the next stage.
Mandarin.
That'll be the next stage. Yeah. Actually, you've just hit on something. That's a very sensible thing. Yeah, that's a good idea you've had all week.
What, Mandarin subtitles?
Yeah, because we're thinking of...
Audience of a billion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. This
is Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the 2 mics. Coming up a little bit later on, it's Porky Vision Night, of course, so you'll be finding out precisely what it is that Mr. Parry's been watching this week. Apparently that Louis Van Gaal reenactment is now on 2 Mics TV.
Excellent.
So you can go there and find it.
Lovely.
Couple of quick tweets for you, though. Here's one from Lord Rallo. Porky would make a great politician. Deny, lie, then immediately change the subject when proven wrong.
No, not at all. All I'm doing is trying to shape the facts into what was intended by my statement.
But as I've said to you many times, I mean, most of your stories are perfectly good without being embellished.
I don't embellish.
But you can't resist embellishing.
I don't embellish.
Here's one from Retro Gamer.
Yes.
It says, my wife is Chinese and can translate bladderation into Mandarin for a small fee.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you very much indeed. Actually, there isn't much difference between bladderation and Mandarin. They sound about the same.
This is a good one from Steve. He says, the only Mandarin Mike Parry knows about is gerrymandering.
No. I tell you what I do like.
Yeah.
Mandarin oranges.
Mandarin oranges?
I do,
Did you buy them in a tin?
No, I bought a big orange bag of them from Tesco's yesterday, and I've eaten them all.
Well, they came in an orange bag?
Yeah, honestly, fantastic. The orange, the string bag. Yeah,
it's not an orange bag.
It is.
It's a bag of oranges.
No.
It's not the same thing.
No, it's orange string. They keep them in. They keep them in
it's an orange
string bags. Honestly, they're lovely. I couldn't stop eating them, actually. They're infectious.
Really?
No, not infectious. They're, what is it when you can't stop eating?
Moorish?
Yeah, more than Moorish. Addictive. They're addictive, yeah.
I think you want to be careful being addicted to that sort of thing.
Yeah,
but they've got pips in them.
Very good for you.
Are they like tangerines?
Seedless Mandarin oranges.
Where are they from?
Israel.
Are you sure?
Certain.
Right.
I looked on the label.
Oh, okay. Here's one from Cheyenne.
I like Israeli oranges.
Do you?
Because I remember once being in Israel and going through the orange groves and picking them off the trees and eating them for breakfast. Yeah.
I once, when I stayed in outside of Girona, up in northern Spain.
Oh, yes.
I rented a house there for a couple of weeks, and they had orange trees growing in the garden.
Well, in Seville, Sevilla, as we call it, in the local lingo, where England were playing a game once when, it was a friendly. I didn't realise that...
Everton were?
England.
Oh, England.
England. Wash your ears out.
I wasn't listening.
No, you weren't.
Zoned out.
And what happened was, all the streets in Sevilla are lined with orange trees. And you think, wow, what a wonderful sort of, local atmosphere. Except that every morning, these lorries come along and they cultivate all the oranges, take them off and then throw them away. Because they're all poisoned, because they're all attacked by birds. And they don't want tourists to eat them because they're infected.
Oh, dear.
So the only oranges that are harvest in Sevilla and outside Sevilla are in orangeries, but in the street you can't eat the oranges that fall off the trees.
Oh, right.
If you do, you get poisoned.
It's very sensible.
Yeah.
Did you eat any of them?
No, of course not. No. I know when not to poison myself. I'm pretty.
That's a handy thing to have. That.
Yeah, exactly.
Knowing when not to poison yourself. Let's talk to Carl, who's a Liverpool fan. Hello, Carl.
Hi, Mike. I was just giggling at you two talking there. It used to amuse me quite often. Just 3 points if I could just make them if I have a point of your time. To Mr. Parry mainly, Mike. Yes. While I really like listening to your sometimes varied and skewed opinions on many subjects, I have to think that your comment on Manchester City is slightly inane because Liverpool got no gifts this afternoon. Liverpool took... This evening, they grabbed City by the throat. They did the same at the Etihad, and over the 3 games they've played Manchester City over the course of the season, they've scored 8 and conceded 2. Point number 2: would Manchester City conceivably give us the League Cup if we gave them the 6 points we've ripped off them? And point number 3: is Raheem Sterling the greatest buy in the world at 50 million quid for 5 goals?
So, I mean, to answer your point... Yeah.
I love the laugh. I love the laugh.
It is, yeah. I mean, Carl, to answer your points in reverse, Raheem Sterling has so far cost City £10 million a goal, right? You know, that's a pretty expensive way of doing it. To answer your middle question, I bet you City would give you the League Cup if you give them the 6 points back. I bet you they would. And your first one is, I was only winding you up. Of course you had a great victory last night.
I do enjoy listening to you, mate, I must admit.
No, it's... I mean, I tell you what must be your biggest frustration this season, Carl, is that you have a fantastic... You have a fantastic result like last night. You beat Manchester City 3-0, and then you find yourself...
I watch them sometimes, and sometimes it's like watching... like Scunthorpe United, and sometimes it's like watching Barcelona. I don't know.
Well, do you remember?
I don't know why.
Do you remember your game against Newcastle earlier this season? You went into that game on the back of scoring. I think it was 10 goals in the previous 2 games. And
also, Mike, do you not think that your team have massively underachieved for the squad that they've got, considering?
Don't worry, Carl. They've got a billionaire owner now, according to Porky, so it's all going to change.
Well, I think also as well they have underachieved. I mean, my dad was an Evertonian, so I've got nothing against Everton, Mike, to start it off. I'm not a bitter Liverpoolian, and the same way there are bitter Evertonians out there. Yeah. I've been to Goodison more times than I care to remember.
Yeah. More times than I care to remember you being there as well.
I genuinely think that they have underachieved.
Well, let me tell you, Carl, it's so frustrating. This is the strongest squad we've had, really, since the 80s, without a doubt.
Why are we talking about Everton again?
Well, because Carl was talking about Everton.
People are complaining about, all you do is talk about Everton.
Why don't you zip you gob while I talk to Carl? So you're absolutely right. We've got a very competent squad, and when you see a team like Spurs, who are, I think, the same size sort of a club as Everton, when you see them literally challenging for the Premier League title because they've unearthed 2 or 3 very good players, it's very frustrating to be an Evertonian because we've got such a good basis of a brilliant team with Lukaku, with Barkley, with John Stones.
Yeah, that's enough about Everton.
It is frustrating, Carl. You're absolutely right.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm really sorry you mentioned Everton.
Take it easy,
all
Carl.
week we've heard nothing but bloody Everton, OK? So you're now banned from saying anything about Everton for the next conceivable future. How about this from Derek in Pencoed?
Oh, Derek, the bog cleaner.
Mike, I see Porky's trying to gerrymander his previous comments. He is a disgrace and a hypocrite, and there is still time for Sterling to score more goals, and I'm not a City fan.
Yeah, no, Pencoed is in the middle of nowhere.
Pencoed.
So he probably supports something like Bala Town or something like that, you know what I mean?
It's not in the middle of nowhere, actually.
It is.
It's not. It's in South Wales.
Have you ever been to Bala Lake?
Which is where we go. Where?
Bala Lake.
Bala Lake?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's next to Snowdon Lake.
So it's in the middle of Snowdonia?
No, hang on a minute.
Do you have any idea where it is?
No, hang on. I think Bala Lake is the Snowdon Lake. I think I'm getting confused.
Really?
Snowdon is a mountain.
Yes, I know that. It's also a national park.
Yeah, and there's a lake next to it. I think that is Bala Lake, actually. Yeah, it is.
And where do you think Pencoed is then?
Pencoed. It's in like the middle of the Brecon Beacons.
No, it's not.
Isn't it? Where is it then?
It's in South Wales.
Well, that's in South. Well, the Brecon Beacons is in South Wales.
No, the Brecon Beacons are not in South Wales. The Brecon Beacons are slightly further up. It's like near Bridgend, actually.
Yeah, Bridgend. I knew it was near Bridgend. That's it. That's the one.
Well, Bridgend is nowhere near the Brecon Beacons.
Bridgend is near Port Talbot, where they had to close down the steelworks, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly right.
And Bridgend is also near Swansea.
Yeah, it is.
Where the pretty boy came from. You know, he played for
John Hartson.
No, not John Hartson. John Hartson's not a pretty boy. No, the pretty boy rugby
I think
player.
he's a good-looking man.
Gavin Hansen.
Gavin Henson.
Gavin Henson, yeah. And what's your problem? What's your problem?
Well, Hanson was the guy that made Jim. Was the band, wasn't it? Hanson.
He was what?
Hanson was the band.
The band?
The band, yeah. There was a band called Hanson.
I didn't know that. I know.
We might have to play some of their music.
There was an Alan Hansen.
Alan Hansen.
Obviously.
Hansen.
who was the Liverpool defender and the match of the day guy. Yeah.
You won't be anything with kids.
Hey?
You won't be anything with kids.
Oh, you don't do anything with kids? Yeah, that's right. And by the way,
said that.
Sorry, did you know that the average age of the Spurs team at the moment, if they won the Premier League, would be lower than the Manchester United kids team that won the Premier League?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, 24 years and 23 days or something. Yeah.
Fascinating.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've got all these facts stored in my head. I don't know where I get it from, really.
I don't know where you get them from either.
That is my head I'm talking about.
Obviously because you've avoided poisoning yourself over the years. Now, coming up, we've got Paul Stalteri, former Spurs player, to tell us whether he thinks the Porky jinx is going to work or whether Spurs are going to win the league after all.
But guess what we're going to talk about next?
What?
Elvis's doctor has left the house.
Left the building?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Dr. Elvis coming next.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast on Talk Sport with the new Ford Ranger. It's the breakfast show that's always ready to take on any challenge.
Join me, Alan Brazil, and a different co-host every weekday morning from 6 a.m. as we tackle all the big stories of the day.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Weekday mornings from 6 on Talk Sport with the new Ford Ranger. Ruthlessly tested across the harshest terrain on Earth. Find out more at ford.co.uk.
What do you think?
Oh, that's lovely on you, Jack.
Oh, yeah, it really suits you, Dad.
It's not too much?
No, it's lovely. It's really you.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, it's a fixed rate tariff too.
And better than the other one.
Oh, yeah, that's dead nice.
You shop around for clothes, so why not for energy deals? Switching energy suppliers could save you up to £200. And with our independent guide and links to Ofgem approved comparison sites, it's never been easier. Visit goenergyshopping.co.uk.
Everyone knows that all the best things come in threes. 3 Amigos, 3 Stooges, 3 Lions. And right now, if you sign up to 888 Sport, you'll get treble odds on your first bet. Play with 888 Sport and harness the power of 3 with treble odds on your first bet. New customers only. Minimum £5 bet to qualify. Maximum £10 bet at treble odds. Bet at normal odds. Extra winnings added as a free bet within 72 hours. Free bets must be used within 7 days and are not included in any returns. See site for full terms and conditions. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
At Asda, we want to help you give Mum the best Mother's Day yet. Put yourself in her shoes. Okay, furry slippers. What would you prefer? A quick chat? A card that turns up late? Or a proper day together? Thought so. Catch up over bubbles instead of the phone with Louvel Fontaine Champagne. Down from £24.50 to just £10. Make her day on March 6th by giving her yours. Asda. Save money, live better.
Selected stores subject to availability. Over 18s only. Drink aware.
To celebrate the launch of the new Tool Station catalogue, we're playing New Kicks on the Block all next week from 1 on Talk Sport with Hawksby and Jacobs. You'll get 45 football seconds to answer as many silky skill questions on Euro 2016 first-timers and international newbies to win a top-flight Milwaukee compact drill twin pack every day. Sorted. Listen up and play New Kicks on the Block all next week from 1 with Hawksby and Jacobs on Talk Sport with Toolstation. Find your nearest branch at toolstation.com.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
A terrific performance.
Turn of pace and eye for goal.
Shout about it.
Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, Muhammad Ali.
You did a quiz on him, aren't you, tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah. I'm an expert on Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you why we just featured that there, Mike.
Yeah.
Dr. Nick is dead. Now, Dr. Nick was George Nikopoulos. Sorry, yeah, he was of Greek extraction. George Nikopoulos, right. What's your problem? And he was the personal physician to Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, in Elvis's last sort of 6 or 7 years, wherever Elvis went, when he was crisscrossing America, touring America, whenever you saw Elvis climbing up the steps to the private plane, there was a bloke behind him with a black bag.
Yeah.
Much like
Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah, exactly. Much like the President of the United States always has a guy following around after him with the nuclear codes.
Yeah.
This guy, Dr. Nick, as he was known to Elvis, carried a bag full of drugs around.
Okay.
Now, the thing is...
So how was he related... Was he closer to him than old Parker was, Colonel Parker?
He was the closest person to him because, I mean, what happened was, as Elvis got more and more paranoid, as he got more and more famous, couldn't handle fame and all that kind of stuff, he needed pills to go to sleep, then he needed pills to... What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
What's your problem?
Nothing. I'm just laughing at the way you keep calling him Dr. Nick.
His name is Dr. Nick. That was his nick. Sorry, that was his name. That was his name. That was his name. Anyway, so what happens is, as Elvis gets more paranoid, he needs pills to go to sleep, he needs pills to get up, he needs pills to go on stage, he needs pills to come off stage, right? And for instance...
A bit like you, really. Take 27 pills a day.
Well, I do. I have to keep my heart going.
Yeah.
Actually, I forgot to take them tonight, so I'm glad you reminded me.
What, all 27 of them?
Yeah.
How can you forget to take 27 pills?
Because I just rushed out and forgot them. But it doesn't matter. I get a 12-hour window to take them. Now,
what happens if you don't take them?
Look, we're not talking about me. We're talking about Dr. Nick. Now, what happens
What's his real name again?
George Nikopoulos. Dr. George.
Eleftheric Typos. Goodness me. I hope I pronounced that right. Unless
anyway, he was the son of a Greek restaurateur, but he became Elvis's doctor.
Yeah.
Now, the point is...
Well, hang on, was he not a doctor at all, then?
Oh, yes, he was. He was a qualified medical doctor.
Okay.
He went to Bethesda. You know where that is?
Bethesda?
Yeah.
Do you mean Bethesda?
Actually, it was the University of the South Tennessee. So
yeah, that's not Bethesda's in Maryland.
That's right, it is, yeah. Vanderbilt Medical School in Nashville. But that's where he got his medical degree.
Tennessee.
Now, what happened was, and this is the crux of the matter, that after he died, a lot of fans blamed Dr. Nick for giving Elvis too many drugs. And his defence was always, I didn't give him too many, I didn't give him enough. Yes. He wanted more and more and more.
This is a bit reminiscent of the Michael Jackson story.
It is very reminiscent, thank you very much indeed. Where Michael Jackson wanted was milk. And milk was this liquidy stuff that he needed to go to sleep and to wake up and all this kind of stuff. Right. But anyway, listen to this, for instance. Between 1975 and 1977... Dr. Nick prescribed Presley 19,000 doses of drugs.
19,000?
Right? 19,000. Over a 4-year period, that's 5,000 a year.
Yeah.
And as there's 50 weeks in a year, that's like 100 a week.
That's
okay?
Right, yeah.
So 19,000 doses of drugs. This is, honestly, this is not funny. The effects of which became worryingly obvious to concert audiences, many of whom would have noticed and been aghast to see the singer slurring his words in his songs, forgetting the lyrics, and a tendency to babble and stagger around the stage.
Sounds like a Two Mics show. So when he was going, thank you very much, that was because he actually couldn't move his lips any more than, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's true. I mean, he shouldn't be laughing, because it was a very tragic story.
Yeah.
But anyway, the doctor, however, would later... claim that not all the pills and shots prescribed were for Presley, and that as the tour physician, he actually gave Presley on a placebo.
Yes.
Now, placebo, of course, is a false pill to make your patient think that he's taking tablets, but he said, I tried to keep him off them.
Well, it's amazing how often that works. You know, people who are given placebos when they're doing sort of medical research and stuff, and if you tell someone you're giving them a headache pill, for example, they think their headache's going away.
But the thing is, towards the end of his life, Elvis became a babbling wreck, and many people say... what?
That sounded even more like you.
Yeah, that's right. And many people said that this was down to Dr. Nick just giving him everything he wanted.
Right.
In 1985... Dr. Nick set up a new single-handed medical practice under the name We Care Incorporated, but that was a long time after Elvis was dead, and he was never sort of taken seriously again. Anyway, he's died now.
So what happened to him then, Dr. Nick, after Elvis died? I mean, does it say what he then... Did he move on to another sort of celebrity client? Did he make a fortune out of Elvis?
Yeah, he did really. He did really, because what then is he set up like a specialist practice to deal with the particular problems of people in the public eye.
Yeah.
And fame and all that. So while some people flocked to him and said, oh, you were Elvis's doctor, others blamed him for actually killing the king.
Yeah. So he didn't stay friendly with Priscilla or anybody like that?
No, he didn't. But anyway, what he said when he heard that Elvis had died, he said, I'm dumbfounded. The problem was that by then, Elvis had become a completely shambling wreck, you know? He had, do you know what he had just before he died, which Dr. Nick was...
About 4 cheeseburgers, wasn't it?
It was about, they choked on a peach or something, didn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Sitting on a loo.
Well, he was sitting on a loo.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. But anyway, so Dr. Nick had to go out and get other doctors to treat Elvis for the following conditions.
Yeah.
Glaucoma.
Right.
That's an eye problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hang on. What are the others? Yeah, hypertension.
Yeah.
I think that means you've got blood pressure.
That's high blood pressure, isn't it? Yeah.
Irritable bowel syndrome.
That's probably from taking all the drugs.
I would think so. And actually, this doesn't make sense. Irritable bowel syndrome, and at the same time, chronic constipation. Which,
that could be the case.
I suppose so.
That could also be a side effect of all the pills.
Yeah, of course it could. Yeah. Anyway, what happened was
why he died sitting on the toilet.
Yeah, well, could be. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not a very pleasant subject. Might be right. On January the 20th, 1980, the Tennessee Medical Board, because, of course, Elvis died in Memphis, Tennessee, in Graceland, didn't he?
Graceland, yeah.
Yeah. Found him guilty of overprescribing, but not guilty of having behaved unethically.
So he wasn't actually ever charged with anything, though, was he?
They gave him a 3-month suspension of his licence and 3 years probation. Later that year, he faced a criminal prosecution. In October 1981, a jury acquitted him on 14 charges of abusing his licence to prescribe controlled drugs to a number of patients, one of whom was Elvis Presley.
So he got away with it then?
Got away with it, yeah.
And I mean, would you get the impression that he self-medicated, this guy, as well? I mean, do you think he was taking a lot of drugs too?
Well, he came to a sorry end, actually. I was going to tell you, because you asked me what happened to him in the end, right? Yeah. What happened was he was then shunned by the medical profession. Desperately short of money, Nikopoulos worked 4 years as his former patient, Jerry Lee Lewis's road manager and medical consultant. Now, Jerry Lee Lewis was far more mad than Elvis Presley, wasn't he?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't know if he was
wilder.
He was certainly wilder. Although that depends
Great balls of fire.
Yeah, I mean, he was arrested for what was it?
Pimping.
No, it wasn't that.
Underage.
There's a name.
Stuff.
Transporting moral turpitude.
Moral turpitude, transporting minors over the county line. Yeah, and all that kind of stuff.
For the purposes of nefarious activity.
So anyway, so what happened was. He then spent 6 years on disability benefits, which can't be good, can it?
I didn't even think they had those in America.
No, I didn't either. No, but in 2002, Nikopoulos and a friend organised the Memories of Elvis, a touring memorabilia expedition.
I wonder why.
And guess what?
Yeah.
The centrepiece of the exhibition was his old black bag, the one he used to carry around, up and down the stairs of the aeroplanes, following Elvis around.
Oh, okay.
And this is so macabre. In the black, you were allowed to open the black bag, right?
What colour black was it?
Well, it was dark black, obviously. And when you opened the dark black bag, which you were allowed to do as part of... Yeah, it was one of these exhibitions that the audience participate in. What's that called?
Hey?
What's it called?
What, an audience with?
No. It's, it counters something or whatever.
What?
What happens when you're sitting in the audience and they ask you to participate? It's called audience...
Participation.
Participation, that's right, yeah. All right. So anyway, you were allowed to open the bag, and when you did, there was an empty file of do-loaded...
Do-loaded?
Yeah, do-loaded. D-I-L-A-U-D-I-D. Right?
D-U-L what?
D-I-L-A-U-D-I-D. Empty file of do-loaded, yeah. And it had Elvis's name on it.
Is that your machine making
No,
noise?
it's not. My machine's not in here. No, it's not. I don't know whose that is. I don't know. Anyway, listen, the point is there were also a number of prescriptions with Elvis' names on it inside the bag, which you could have a look at, made out to the star a day or two before he died, and a glass nasal irrigator, which was used to clear Elvis's sinuses before concerts.
Oh, yeah.
The tour...
I wonder why.
Yeah, exactly. The tour got as far as 2 casinos in Nevada before being stopped after complaints it was tasteless and exploitative, OK?
Right.
And that's not a shock, is it?
No, it's not.
Oh, dear
You're finished now with this guy?
Yeah, finished, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Dr. Nick's walk-in clinic is something that somebody said.
Oh, is that the one?
Said this.
Yeah.
No, he just said a sign.
Oh,
Dr. Nick's walk-in, complete confidentiality. 44 Bow Street, Springfield. Yes.
Hey, do you remember there was a song? I wonder if we can get it. I wonder if our top chap here tonight can get it. Elvis made a song which was released by mistake, and it was called The Laughing Track. Do you remember this?
No.
You know the one? Are you lonesome tonight?
Are You Lonesome Tonight is the name of that song.
And I see you all right.
No, those are not the words.
Right, well, whatever the words were. Have you heard the version which goes... Are you lonesome? It's called The Laughing Track.
Really?
Have you ever heard it?
No, I don't think so.
It's Are You Lonesome Tonight?
Well, is it something that was recorded and, then never went anywhere?
It was Are You Lonesome Tonight? Then about 3 minutes into it, Elvis erupts into laughter and can't stop laughing.
All right.
And somehow,
I have heard it, actually.
And somehow that got out onto...
well, it's bound to be available.
On an LP somewhere, and people listen to it.
Well, we'll see if we can find it for the next hour, shall we?
Yeah, good idea.
It's coming up next. We're going to talk to Paul Stelteri.
I thought it was an interesting story, that, about Elvis and his doctor.
Well, it went on a bit.
Well,
Well, it was all
no,
right.
it's fascinating.
The first couple of minutes were interesting.
Fascinating.
Like all your stories, it went
Well,
on too
Elvis stumbling around on stage, the size of a baby elephant, mumbling incoherently.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a terrible vision.
James says, Porky's talking rubbish. In the quiz,
What?
you knew nothing about Elvis. You were hammered.
What?
In the quiz.
No.
You knew nothing about him.
No.
Anyway, loads more texts and tweets to read out. Tweeted it out on the two mics.
Excellent.
And also, lots of people are posting to us the Elvis laughing track. So,
really?
So we'll play it out in a little while.
Well, we've got it, I think, haven't we? I hope we found it. We have got it. Yeah,
well,
great.
So we'll play it maybe coming up in a very short period of time.
Exactly.
Now, here's an offer you can't refuse from John.
Okay.
It says, evening, Porky. Fancy grabbing some food tomorrow? I've got some amazing stories for you.
What?
What do you make of that?
I make that to be a very open-ended offer, which seems to be couched in very mysterious terms.
Yeah,
so
I think you'd have to give us some more details.
Yeah, more info required, please. Thank you.
Here's one from Steve who says, Muhammad Ali's 74, which for Porky is 47 backwards. See?
But it's not 47.
It's 47 backwards.
Anyway, listen, I'll tell you what I'm going to tell you, right?
Yeah,
now, the point is, you think I'm obsessed with Raheem Sterling.
I think you are, yeah.
Right.
I think it's a very, very unusual obsession that you've got.
Well, it's not an obsession at all. I just pointed out I thought he was massively overvalued at £58 million, and I said he wouldn't score in more than 5 games, OK?
No, you said he wouldn't score 5 goals.
Now, OK. Now,
sorry to keep being pedantic about it.
Right, Liverpool have played Manchester City twice in 4 days, OK?
Yes,
we agree with this, don't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Once in the League Cup final.
Yes, that's right.
And once last night.
Yeah, now, in the League Cup final, Manchester City prevailed 2-1.
Yes.
Last night, Liverpool won 3-0.
Well, hang on, they won on penalties.
They won on penalties, I'm sorry. Of course they did, yes, that's absolutely right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, now...
Just the facts.
Right, now, can I just say, I've looked at all the match reports, OK, which are available to people who buy national newspapers tomorrow.
Yeah.
The average score given to Raheem Sterling in marks out of 10 is the lowest of every single player who played last night, 4 out of 10.
4?
Right. The highest score... The highest average score to any player who played last night in marks out of 10 went to Stephen Flanagan, 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
What is the connection between Flanagan and Sterling?
Flanagan and Sterling. Well, Sterling used to play for Liverpool.
Yes.
And Flanagan does play for Liverpool.
And Flanagan marked Sterling. And in the early minutes of the game, after 5 minutes, it says here...
There's more than one connection.
Yeah. It says here... Sterling, 4 out of 10, smashed early on by Flanagan and never recovered his poise, OK?
Oh, what you mean he gave him a bit of a sort of a hello, here I am type tackle?
He went in there, gave him a Tommy Smith sort of greeting, if you see what I mean, the old-fashioned style.
Welcome to Liverpool.
Yeah.
And welcome back to Liverpool.
That's right. Sterling stayed away. John Flanagan, by the way. I said Stephen Flanagan. Somebody just reminded me his name's John Flanagan. Thank you very much. And... Sorry,
how somebody just reminded you so quickly?
Well, because somebody did. So John Flanagan smashing into Sterling put Sterling out of the game. Now, the question is this.
Yeah.
If Kloppo had put Sterling in the team on Sunday to mark Sterling and take him out the game, would that have made a difference?
Who's Mark Sterling?
To mark Sterling.
Oh, sorry.
Marking is a football term.
Yes, I see. No, I thought you were saying Mark Sterling.
To mark Sterling. Yeah. Would it have put him out of the game? Would it have altered the course of the game? Who knows? Anyway,
well,
I thought...
one of the things that many Arsenal fans are perplexed about, one of them being Piers Morgan, who's on the Sports Breakfast thing on Friday, he was tweeting out that, in the midst of the Arsenal debacle, as they were losing, he said the man that we should have had as manager is ripping apart Manchester City.
Klopp, that's right,
I mean, they've missed the boat there, haven't they? Well, because if the conversation about Arsene Wenger continues, which I'm sure it will, with more and more Arsenal fans, as you said, reaching this kind of watershed conclusion, that maybe it's time to get rid of him. They should have gone for Jurgen Klopp.
I think they missed the boat on 2 managers, Klopp and Guardiola. Had there been a vacancy, would Guardiola have gone there? Now, listen, I'll tell you what else we need to talk about during the course of the game. Tony Warren.
Tony Warren, yes.
Oh, go on, tell me who Tony Warren is.
Well, Tony Warren is the creator, is he not, of Coronation Street?
Yeah, do you know how old he was when he created it?
He was 23 or 4.
He was 23.
Yeah.
Well done. He was 23 years of age, and what happened was he just put up this idea. Look, a working-class street in the north of England with a pub at one end of the street.
Yes.
Cobbles in the middle and a shop at the other end. How do you fancy that? And everybody said, it'll never work. That'd be ridiculous. And you know, for the first couple of years, Coronation Street was broadcast live.
Was it?
I
think you've mentioned this before.
It was in black and white, and it was live, and it became the world's longest-running soap opera.
Well, I saw
day.
a couple of clips that they put out on the TV a bit earlier on in the day.
Yes.
And with it's Ken Barlow, isn't it? Is the guy who's in it, looking very young.
Who?
Is it Ken Barlow?
Ken Barlow was definitely in the first episode.
That's what I'm
yes,
saying.
absolutely
but
right.
looking very, very young.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Now, I want to take you
Such
back,
a
and I know you
shame.
want to give us an appreciation of all of that, right?
Yeah.
I want to take you back to the other day when I referred you to my childhood. Not only were you making fun of me for going to see shows like Crackerjack and Basil Brush,
yes.
but you were also making fun of me for collecting stamps.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Only divvies collect stamps.
Yeah. Did you know that John Lennon's boyhood stamp collection is going to be on display in New York City this spring?
I was aware of that, yes.
So that makes him a divvy then?
No, not at all.
You've just said anyone who collects stamps is a divvy.
No, not at all.
You just said that.
No, he didn't collect stamps.
Well, why are they putting his stamp collection on display then?
Well, it may say John Lennon's stamp collection, but he only ever, apparently, bought stamps.
He only bought stamps?
Yeah, he didn't collect them, you see what I mean.
Well, what's the difference?
Well, the difference is that these divvies go to school and they swap stamps and all that kind of stuff. He didn't do any of that. He didn't do any of that.
Says here, Beatles fans and philatelists alike.
Yes.
You know what a philatelist is, don't
It's
you?
a stamp collector.
Exactly. We'll be able to view John Lennon's childhood stamp collection during the World Stamp Show in New York City, May the 28th through June the 1st.
Well, that to me is just a cheap attempt to cash in on the publicity of the world's greatest singer-songwriter, John Lennon.
Well, hang on. The budding musician began collecting stamps after his older cousin, Stanley Parks, I don't know if you've ever heard of him before,
No, I haven't,
gifted him a partially filled-in album.
Yeah.
Over the years, Lennon filled the book with stamps taken from letters sent from the United States and New Zealand. And when the National Postal Museum first purchased Lennon's lost album, he said, did not boast any notable stamps.
No,
Typically,
exactly.
young boys aren't interested in rarity. They tend to concentrate on geography and colours.
Yes, that's right.
Which is kind of what I did.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So he did
And
almost exactly
where'd your favourite stamps come from, then?
I remember having stamps from Borneo.
Borneo.
I remember having stamps from Australia.
What a load of
United
drivel.
States.
Yeah.
I used to have pen pals.
Pen pals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was in the Penguin Book Club as well.
Funny enough, I had a pen pal in America.
Yeah.
I think my mum...
The last pal you ever had.
Well, it could have been because I insulted him in a letter.
You insulted your pen pal?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
That's typical of you.
Yeah, he was a complete Burke. And what happened was, my mum said, "Oh, you should have a pen pal. You know, being a good, nice interest for you."
Desperately seeking to make you into some kind of normal child.
Yeah, that's right, probably. Yeah, and I'm only agreeing with you because I'm being facetious, of course.
So how did you insult him then?
Well, what happened was, you went through this agency which connected, American kids with English kids and all this kind of stuff. And this got this letter from this pompous fat fool, because he sent a picture as well, saying things like,
What sort of age were you?
12.
12,
yeah. And it said something like, I play, American football, something like that, but I spent a lot of time on my musical studies. And I remember the word that really got me. He said, I take lessons in the clarinet, but I major on the piano.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I'd never heard of the word major applied in that way before.
But that's the whole point of having a pen pal, is that you familiarise yourself with different cultures.
Yeah, so I wrote some letter back, really mocking this guy. And
mocking him?
Yeah, mocking him.
Why?
I said something like,
That's horrendous.
I major on the bongo drum or something like that, just to confuse him
So
and
you
all
were
this
kind
kind
of
of
mad
stuff.
already at that age?
No, I wasn't mad. And the picture of the kid was so American. He had this fat face with these very expensive glasses and, all this kind of thing. And
did you ever hear from him again?
No, of course not. No, because I sent him back saying, everything he said in his letter about, I play, whatever, quarterback in American football team.
Well, he wouldn't have called it American football, would he?
Well, whatever he called it, football or something like that. And I wrote back and said, I play 3/4 wing on this.
Really odious character.
I just wanted to take the mickey out of him, and I think he got the message, and he never wrote again. I'm glad about that, because I didn't want to be associated with such a weirdo jerk.
Yeah. How about this from Anonymous? He says, it's so funny to listen to the king plank himself, Porky, stuttering and stammering when he realised Lennon was a stamp collector.
What? No, not at all. I've explained that one to you. Explained that one to you. I think it's a gross invasion of Lennon's privacy.
Really?
I think it's a pathetic attempt to cash in on their tawdry little stamp exhibition by saying, "Oh, we've got John Lennon's stamps." It means nothing. Sound and fury signifying nothing. That's a Shakespearean quote, by the way.
That's a pretty good description of the way you carry on as well. This is Talk Sport.
Get the job done on Talk Sport with Toolstation. Will Spain reign again?
And Spain are into the lead.
Are France in with a chance? Or will the Three Lions finally rule? As the International League prepared to go head-to-head to lift the biggest prize in European football, join Hawksby and Jacobs every Monday from 1 to find out which team can get the job done. You wait for Euro 2016 on Talk Sport with Toolstation. Low prices on top trade brands. Open late 7 days a week. Find your nearest branch at toolstation.com.
Sergeant, why have you brought the chaps to a Fiat professional dealership?
You said quick March, sir.
Yes.
There's an offer on Fiat Doblo and Fiorino vans in March.
And quick?
Only 31 days in March, sir. Clock's ticking.
Sergeant, I really don't think we can...
3 years warranty and 3 years roadside assistance.
Yes, that is rather good.
3 years servicing for just £99 and a £300 prepaid card for fuel too.
Don't bother walking back. You grab a Doblo. I'll take a Fiorino.
Quick March to your local Fiat professional dealership now. Mileage limitations apply. For full T&Cs, visit fiatprofessional.co.uk.
An attack has decimated the British capital.
What do you want?
London descending into chaos.
This Thursday, London will fall and a hero will rise.
Stay with me. We'll get you out of here.
Gerard Butler, Aaron Eckhart, and Morgan Freeman.
Get down!
Don't miss the sequel to Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh, my God.
London Has Fallen in cinemas Thursday. Rated 15.
Even if you are driving high, you've got no reason to be pulled over, have you? It's not like the weed is affecting you. Anyway, you know these roads, and the police can't tell you're stoned, can they? It's not like your eyes are red or you're acting a bit strange. You'll be fine. Except if you get pulled over, the roadside swab will be able to tell that you've done drugs on the spot, leading to a criminal record, a minimum 12-month driving ban, and a large fine. Think. Don't take drugs and drive.
The Form Zone on Talk Sport with Betfair. Listen to Talk Sport throughout the weekend for Betfair's experts' essential guide to all the latest form and odds as all the big teams face off. Everything you need to keep ahead of the game and make sure you know where the smart money is this weekend. Enter the Form Zone every weekend on Talk Sport with Betfair's ACCA Edge, giving you cash back on trebles and above on all sports and markets if one leg of your accumulator lets you down. Selected bets only. Full terms at betfair.com. Gambleaware.co.uk.
Saturday afternoon from 5:30. Exclusive national radio commentary of Watford versus Leicester City. Barclays Premier League.
But just to explain to those who just tuned in, the reason that we played you that is because we are sadly having to commemorate the death of George Nikopoulos, Dr. Nick, as he was known to Elvis Presley, the man who followed Elvis Presley around for the last 10 years of his life with a black leather bag which contained the drugs that Elvis needed to go to sleep, to get up, to be able to function, to go on stage, come off stage, which left him as a shambling wreck, according to millions of his fans. And later, Dr. Nick tried to cash in on the black bag by making it the centre of an exhibition of Elvis memorabilia with used files of Elvis drugs in the bag.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Michael tweeted at the two mics, was Dr. Nick's black bag real leather or faux leather?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Probably faux leather.
Now, I've got a few other things to say to you
right.
here. One from Ian, who says, I take it that Dr. Nick in The Simpsons is based on Elvis's doctor. He's a terrible doctor in The Simpsons, which may well be.
Well, it could well
that
be.
That poster I showed you earlier.
Yes.
Now, Derek in Pencoed has come back to you as well.
Oh, yeah, the bog cleaner.
Porky thinks that Pencoed is near Bala Lake. He doesn't know anything about the UK, and he claims to be an expert on the UK.
Yes.
Show him a map. Pencoed is between Swansea and Cardiff, nowhere near Bala Lake.
I know that. I know all these things. Don't worry about it. I only said Bala Lake to get people wound up, really. You know, I know where Bala Lake is. Bala Lake's up Snowdon Mountain.
Well, that's what you said. But it's not up the mountain, is it?
It is, yeah. It's on top of the mountain, I think.
Kiri says this, listening in Hong Kong, PPP, Porky Parry Plonker. Must be bladerated. I've never heard so much rubbish from him in months.
Really?
Poor old MG.
That is very harsh. That's very harsh. Listen, I was going to tell you about the battle, wasn't I?
The Battle of Bannockburn.
Bannockburn.
Yes.
Yeah, Battle of Bannockburn.
Now, I'm fairly sure if I cast my mind back that we had a conversation about the Battle of Bannockburn, and you were, at one point, suggesting to me that there was no evidence that the battle had ever taken place.
No, I didn't say that. What I said was that the actual location of the battle has always been in dispute, you know, whether it happened in this field or that field.
But that's the case in a lot of these situations.
Yeah, well, it is.
Same with the Battle of Battle.
The Battle of Battle, you're absolutely right. You mean the 1066 invasion battle?
Yeah, well, the Battle of Hastings, which it turns out took place in Battle, which I've often said. Why is it not called the Battle of Battle?
Well, I suppose that's too illiterate, isn't it?
Why?
But, well, you know, the Battle of Battle sounds
I can tell you're not interested interested in that.
No, I am.
You don't want to take that any further.
Yeah, no, well...
You're just interested in your own stories.
No, it's not that. It's just that there's nothing else to talk about.
But the Battle of Hastings didn't happen in Hastings.
No, but it's known as the Battle of Hastings.
Yeah, but why, though?
Well, they're not going to change it now. So,
why not?
Hard luck. Sorry, mate. I don't
want them to change it. I'm just interested in accuracy, as you know.
Well, there is no proof as to where it actually took place.
Of course there is.
And anyway... If
it took place on the place where Harold is supposed to have died,
yes,
is the site where they built the abbey in battle.
Yeah, but if a foreign invasion force comes in, they're going to be on the coast, so therefore the battle must have started. The resistance must have started at Hastings.
Well, no, they landed actually in a place called Norman's Bay.
Yeah, well,
which is why it's called Norman's Bay. But that's not in Hastings either.
Yeah, well,
it's very near Pevensey Bay.
It's known as the Battle of Hastings. I mean, do you think we should perhaps, call the Battle of Stalingrad something else? I mean, you can't, because that's
because it took place in Stalingrad.
Yeah, but that's what they're known as.
Even though Stalingrad now no longer exists.
No, exactly. Now then, the Battle of Bannockburn, do you know why it is, apart from the fact, of course, that it was very historic, and...
very historic?
Very historic.
Is that your summation of the Battle of Bannockburn?
Absolutely. Edward II suffered a disastrous defeat, right? Mm-hmm. That was at the hands of the Scottish leader who was then Robert the Bruce, okay?
Yeah.
But guess what happened? What happened was, that is where the Scots, and I didn't know this until I read this in the historical journal this week, acquired the bagpipes. Because up until then, the bagpipes belonged to the English, which they had inherited from the French in battles with the French.
Funnily enough, are an instrument that's been used in many parts of the world. The Scots were not the first to use them.
No, they weren't.
But they were not invented by the English either.
Well, they were.
No.
They were.
Incorrect.
Vivian Williams, organised with the International Bagpipe Conference, is researching a claim to generate the skirls of derision from traditionalists, but insists the evidence is clear. She says bagpipes originated over 3,000 years ago, right? Most probably in India.
That's what I told you.
Yeah, or the Middle East.
That's what I said to you.
But brought to England, brought to Britain by the English. They arrived in the British Isles.
But it doesn't make them English, does it?
Here, mate,
That doesn't make them English.
Listen, please, listen.
I'm listening.
Right, they finally arrived in the British Isles with the Roman invasion in AD 43.
Yeah.
Right, and the Romans invaded England first, as you know.
They invaded England a few times, didn't they?
Yeah, but they invaded England before they invaded Scotland. In fact, they built Hadrian's Wall.
They never got to Scotland.
No, they never got to Scotland, that's right.
They stayed away.
They invaded from the south, so unquestionably, this meant that the bagpipes were heard in England a long time before they arrived in Scotland.
Yeah, very possibly so.
Now, Dr. Williams...
But they were a Byzantine instrument from ancient Greece and Turkey.
No, I've just told you the history of them.
And India.
3,000 years ago in India.
Yeah, but lots of different places have them.
Yeah, anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
So, Dr.
Anyway.
Well, if you'd stop interrupting. Dr. Williams, a musicology researcher at the University of Glasgow, points out that in the 10th century... there's a 10th century book called the Exeter Book, OK?
Exeter
Book. It's
in, like, the Exeter city?
Yes, that's right, written by the Anglo-Saxons. And it talks about a majestic bird that sits with its feet in the air and its beak down below, right?
What?
And it can't...
What do you mean its beak down below?
Well, it's got a beak at ground level, but its feet are in the air. It's an upside-down bird.
Upside-down bird?
Yeah.
What, so it walks on its head?
Well, it sort of shifts around a bit. Well, hang on, let me finish. It said it cannot fly or walk, but has a glorious gift of song. And this gave name to the bagpipe.
Why?
I don't know. I can't work that one out.
What's the connection with upside-down bird?
I don't know.
And a bagpipe?
I don't know, to be honest.
Well, don't you think you should have looked it up before you started spouting all this rubbish?
I am trying to work this out. Hang on, let me get this again. The Anglo-Saxon book, the Exeter Book, talks about a majestic bird that sits with its feet in the air and its beak down below. It cannot fly or walk, but has a glorious gift of song.
So it can't fly or walk, so it doesn't move?
No, and it says the solution
Wouldn't that make it a bit of a target for predators?
I don't know. It says the solution is the bagpipe. I don't get that.
What?
I'm not sure why I told you that.
Where are you reading all this rubbish from?
From my historical journal.
Yeah.
Now then,
I think you need to go back and start again.
What happened was, English royal records indicate that Edward II, he was Longshanks, wasn't he?
English
royal
records?
Yeah, Edward II was Longshanks. Wasn't he the guy who did in... Braveheart, you can take our land, but you cannot take our freedom.
Well, William Wallace, the fight with William Wallace was a bit different, wasn't it, from Robert the Bruce?
Well, I don't know. Edward II, I'm sure, was the same guy. Anyway, it says Edward II, who suffered a disastrous defeat at the hand of Robert the Bruce, made 2 payments to a bagpiper named, they've even named him, Giannino Chevretta.
Don't give the name away.
Giannino Chevretta. Right? Okay.
Chevretta.
Yeah, Giannino Chevretta, the famous...
Is that a woman?
Hey?
Is that a woman?
No, it's a bloke. Giannino Chevretta was the famous bagpiper from 1307.
Oh, yeah.
So
Everybody knows who that
the
is.
expert Dr. Williams, who's just told us about the upside-down bird, says, by contrast, the first undisputed reference to the bagpipes in Scotland comes from the 15th century in the shape of carvings at Melrose Abbey. Do you know where that is?
Melrose Abbey in Scotland, yeah.
You know where that is?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's up near Stirling, I think, isn't it?
And Roslin Chapel in Midlothian.
No, that's in Edinburgh, yeah.
Midlothian.
You know, Roslin Chapel is where the Da Vinci Code was set.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Did you not know that?
No.
Have you seen the Da Vinci Code?
Boring.
Have you read it?
I got halfway through the film and I got halfway through the book.
Quite
and then
dark,
dropped it.
isn't it?
Yeah. Right, the first uncontested written reference comes from Perth. You know, Perth is in the north, isn't it? In 1623.
It's north of Glasgow and Edinburgh.
Yeah, and guess why it was recorded in 1623? For the first time ever, a piper was fined for playing on the Sabbath. Okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, she says...
I want to hear more about this upside-down bird that doesn't move.
Well, I'm getting back to this now.
Sounds like a chicken in an oven.
No, so Dr. Williams says, the Scots quickly adopted the bagpipes as a means of inspiring warriors.
I thought he was a bloke, this Williams character.
No, that's a woman.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a woman.
Sure?
Yeah, no.
What's her name?
Her name is Dr. Williams.
Well, how do you know it's a woman?
Because her name's Vivian. Dr. Vivian Williams.
Vivian is a man's name as well.
No, this is a woman.
Are you sure?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Dr. Vivian Williams is a woman. And the bloke I was referring to...
Vivian Harmsworth was a man, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, no, that was Vivian. This is Vivienne. Vivienne. Okay? And the bloke I was referring to was the world-famous bagpiper, Giannino Chevretta, who was bagpiping round about 1307.
Really?
Now then...
the time?
Hang on a sec. Don't worry about the time.
I am worried
However, Dr. Williams claims the Scots adopted the bagpipes. What's your problem?
Where on earth are you going with this?
Because I'm trying to get to the end of the story.
Can we have some bagpipe music, please?
Here... the bagpipes inspired warriors in the Highlands, which were riven by conflict, okay?
Yeah, right.
It was the right instrument at the right time. Although the bagpipes arrived in England first, Scotland has made so much more of them as a national instrument. Previously, Scotland's national instrument...
Why are you shouting?
Yeah. Get this. Scotland's national instrument had been the Celtic harp.
Really? Where did that come from?
Well, it says here, also known as the clarsack.
Clarsack?
The clarsack, C-L-A-R-S-A-C.
Is that like a ball sack?
Yeah, that's right, yeah, the clarsack. But it says here, now this is it, it says the Celtic harp did not...
You said it up as loud as you like.
No, hang on.
Drown out this complete balderdash.
Did not cut it as a military instrument because it was too bulky to take onto the battlefield.
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine these Scottish picked warriors, these savages, these untamed men, taking these harps onto the battlefield with them and then playing them?
Yeah.
How mad is that?
Well, I mean, I suppose it might make you give up.
How
They
mad?
should have just taken you with them. You could have talked everybody to death.
The mad harpist.
This is Talk Sport.
Yeah.
Talk Sport on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. The enduring home of football.
It's modern radio, only better.
Talk Sport. Saturday afternoon from 5:30. Exclusive national radio commentary of Watford versus Leicester City. Barclays Premier League live on
However, if you wanted to go to New York City from London and find yourself a date, there's an agency that's just started up, I think it's called the Vida Agency, which charges people, £18,000 a year.
I know.
And promises to find you some kind of high-end partner. We're going to talk now to a man who knows an awful lot about this kind of stuff. Hunt Etheridge, a dating and relationship expert, co-founder of the International Dating Coach Association. Hunt, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Hello, sirs, and how are you today?
Yeah, we're very well indeed.
Thank
very
you.
well indeed. Now, I don't know if you know anything about this new agency, Vida, that started up. There was a piece of the Times here a couple of days ago about how they charge an incredible amount of money, £18,000 per year, but they guarantee to find you what they describe as a high-end partner.
Yeah, it's well, the one thing about love is it kind of can be all of our pain points for what is success without somebody next to you. So of course we've got these two awesome cities with people at the tops of their games. A lot of times they didn't have the time and effort to put into the skill set of dating and need a little help to get there. And people in those positions want somebody else that can understand that.
But isn't the point of finding somebody, the chase, as it were, and meeting them somewhere, and rather than being kind of lined up with someone someone that someone else thinks you might like?
Well, ideally, of course, we all want to have that somewhat of a fairy tale wedding. I got married. I met my wife at a bar. It was great. We had the courtship and, the falling in love, and it was fun. But a lot of people, one of the things that people don't realize is that dating is a skill set like sports or anything else. Some people are good at it. Some people had more time to practice at it. Some people find themselves without a lot of skill at a place in their life where they wish that were different. So they need to address it in one of many ways. And one way of it is to use one of these services like that kind of helps propel that, if you will.
Yeah, but Hunt, it all sounds so manufactured, none more so than the fact that people are calling it the nylon dating system, i.e. NY, New York, and LON, London. That's where nylon came from, OK? And if you've got to manufacture it that much across a 3,000-mile gap called the Atlantic Ocean, I'm afraid it's something which I would never get involved in because it is so false. You've just told us about how you met your wife in a bar and romance developed and relationships developed. That's how it should be, naturally. You can't ship people like cattle across the Atlantic and say we're going to put you in the same environment as a member of the opposite sex and you will like that person. It's just very distasteful to me.
I completely agree with everything you said.
Good. So why are you doing it? Why are you doing it?
No, absolutely. Because people are desperate. A lot of times there's a phrase that give people what they want, and people want, when I've worked with matchmakers, and I'm being a dating coach, people come in, they say, for instance, a woman comes in, powerful woman, awesome woman. She says, I need a man that's 6 feet tall. I need a man that earns at least $100,000 a year, and I need a man with an advanced degree. No, you don't need any of that. You want that. Yeah. However, if I try to pair you with someone that isn't what you told me, even though I know them better than you did, you're going to sue me because I didn't give you what you wanted. So with dating, unfortunately, one of the things right now that's difficult is you get what you ask for, not necessarily what you need.
Yeah. Isn't there danger here, Hunt? And this manifests itself in celebrity relationships, celebrity marriages, is that when you've got two people who have risen to a position in life where they're rich enough and powerful enough to be able to date across the Atlantic Ocean, you've got two very strong personalities there, and that's usually why these high-profile relationships break up. One gets jealous of the other's charisma and power.
Well, I agree. I believe that most relationships, there should be some sort of a balance to it. There should be an ebb and a flow. And one of the things that I've found here in New York City specifically, we have 36% more women than men. So for every 5 women, there are 3 men. Odds are just right off. Yeah. So it's going to be just in black and white. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult. Yeah. So women here in New York are so powerful. Do you know that 1982 was the last year that more men graduated from college than women?
Wow.
So you have a large amount of highly educated women, highly powerful women that want to be equal, except that they still have the heteronormative behavior of wanting to marry up. And you know what? There's just not enough up anymore.
No.
Do you think, Hunt, that you were talking about skill sets and why some people are better at dating than others? Do you think there's a reason for that? For example, I suppose what I'm asking you is that because of all this high achievement that some of these people have been getting involved with for such a long time, that they've actually forgotten what social skills are?
100%, absolutely. And especially what works in the boardroom, say, and has been successful for you in one area of life, it's normal for you to think that you'll translate those same skills into every other part of your life. But being a cutthroat boardroom killer it made you really powerful on Wall Street, but you try to translate that, you're going to get off your game because it's not going to work for you. So yes, I think exactly what you said, that they kind of start to try to do all of their same. And especially, again, it comes down to a lot of the women here in New York, because to be successful here, it takes a lot of masculine strengths, risk-taking, assertiveness, aggressiveness, and they don't know how to become more feminine without, in their mind, lessening themselves.
And, of course, there are also people out there, like my broadcasting partner here, Mr. Parry, who doesn't want to meet his equal. He prefers women to be, shall we say, a little bit less equal.
Subservient,
yeah. He prefers women.
Which is not true, by the way.
He's only ever gone out with secretaries and married women. So,
hang on, you talk about secretaries as though they're lower-class people.
Well, that's why you go out with them.
No, rubbish. No, that's nonsense. I find that their approach to life is exactly suited to my needs.
And they were also working
100%. Exactly. It's like that back and forth. Sometimes, because, for instance, there are complementing energies. Like a man can have, or a partner can have risk-taking, aggressiveness, assertiveness. Someone else has nurturing, caring, things like that balance those aspects out. So I can absolutely understand why that would be attractive, because it's not, as you might say, the lesser qualities. It's the qualities that they have are what we either nostalgically or whatever consider feminine and complementary to us.
And what do you think, finally, Hunt, because we're running short of time, what would you say is the number one skill to have in order to be successful in the dating arena?
The lack of fear of failure.
Lack of fear of failure. That's a very good answer. Yeah, because you're absolutely right with that. Unless you're bold, unless you believe you're the best in the world, and that this person that you're talking to...
That's not what he means.
No, there was a client that I had that every time a girl looked at him, he thought he had something on his face. Every time a woman looks at me, I think, that's right. Yeah. Is he right 100% of the time? No. Am I right 100% of the time? Absolutely not.
Sure.
But because I feel that way, I'm going to go up and talk to people, and nothing is going to affect me if something doesn't go right.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Hunt, a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much indeed. Hunt Etheridge there. At Hunt for Advice is his Twitter handle. He's a dating and relationship expert. So I don't think you can equate the same thing as what he was saying there with what you just said.
What?
Having no fear of failure is not the same as walking into a room thinking that you're the king of the world.
Well,
it's not the same.
Well, I don't know how you define it, but I mean, once again, I was reading something about Carly Simon again today. She's 72 now, by the way.
Is she?
And she's still banging on about, you're so vain and, giving a hint here and a hint there and all that. But I mean, she's been trading on that for 50 years, hasn't she? But
I wouldn't say that.
But there was a line in the song, about how confident the bloke she was talking about was. You walked into the party like you were walking along the walk or something,
Walking onto a yacht.
Walk onto a yacht, that's right, yeah. And then, you had one eye on the mirror, babe, and all that kind of stuff.
Why are you singing it like schnozzle? One eye on the mirror, babe.
That's right.
Why, where'd you get that one from?
I don't know.
She doesn't sound like Carly Simon at all.
But
she's saying the guy's vain.
That's what I'm saying.
She's attracted to him.
No, but what she's saying is the man exuded enormous confidence, and because of that, and there's another line, isn't it? And every girl wish she was on your arm or something.
What is that voice you're doing?
I don't know. What was the line? It was, every girl...
You sound like Jiminy Cricket.
No, you know what I'm talking about, and your horse naturally won, and all that kind of stuff. So she's just saying that equates, confidence equates to attraction from the opposite sex.
It's not at all what she's saying.
You got it completely
wrong, as usual.
Wow, you've never listened to the record properly.
Yeah. We'll come up with some more answers for you.
Coming up
very shortly. This is Talk Sport.
Make sure you're ahead of the game and listen to Kick-Off on Talk Sport with 888 Sport. Bet you can. Tonight from 7, we get in-depth analysis, heavyweight pundit opinion, and outspoken fan reaction on the nation's most passionate pre-match football forum.
You won't miss a trick, flick, or kick of any of the action.
Plus, hear the latest form and odds ahead of all the matches that matter from 888 Sport's On The Ball Bet Spurt. Kick-Off, weeknight from 7 on Talk Sport with 888 Sport. Bet you can. Please gamble responsibly.
What do you think?
Oh, that's lovely on you, Jack.
Oh, yeah, it really suits you, Dad.
It's not too much?
No, it's lovely. It's really you.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, it's a fixed rate tariff too.
And better than the other one.
Oh, yeah, that's dead nice.
You shop around for clothes, so why not for energy deals? Switching energy suppliers could save you up to £200. And with our independent guide and links to Ofgem approved comparison sites, it's never been easier. Visit goenergyshopping.co.uk.
Park for free at Westfield Stratford City with Aspers Casino. Become an Aspire member, and whenever you visit Aspers, you park for free. Aspers is London's only super casino. Open 24/7 with free membership and free parking until the end of March. You're onto a winner. Terms apply. Details at aspersstratford.co.uk. Over 18s, play responsibly, gambleaware.co.uk.
The A to Z of Corsa. O is for ooh, which is what you'll say when you hear the amazing Corsa limited edition comes with a year's free insurance. C is for core, which is the noise you'll make when you find out the Corsa limited edition 1.4i 75 PS 3-door with brilliant paint is only $169 per month over 35 months with $1,690 advance rental. For more irresistible offers, visit your local Vauxhall retailer or search Corsa offers. Personal contract hire. Excess miles over contracted mileage of 24,000 over 36 months at 6.64 pence per mile. You will not own the car. Insurance underwritten by Ageas Insurance Limited. Licence held for 1 year. First year free insurance for over 21-year-olds only. T's and C's apply. Offer ends March 31st.
At Asda, we want to help you give Mum the best Mother's Day yet. Put yourself in her shoes. OK, furry slippers. What would you prefer? A quick chat? A card that turns up late? Or a proper day together? Thought so. Catch up over bubbles instead of the phone with Louvel Fontaine Champagne. Down from £24.50 to just £10. Make her day on March 6th by giving her yours. Asda. Save money, live better.
Selected stores subject to availability. Over 18s only. Drink aware.
Drive on Talk Sport, the UK's only sports-dedicated drive time with Sky Sports. The sharpest analysis on all the day's action from the giants of sport.
Shane Warne is with us on the show. How you doing, Shane?
G'day, guys. How are you?
Laser-guided comment and rapid reaction from a nation of sports fanatics.
Into the corner of the net.
Drive home with Darren Gough and Adrian Durham.
Who else?
Weekday afternoons from 4 on Talk Sport with Sky Sports, the home of the Barclays Premier League.
Talk Sport.
Pitches, pundits and penalties.
Don't leave your seat until the full-time whistle on DAB.
I can't see people paying 18,000 quid for the privilege of having somebody else set you up.
I totally agree.
It's mad, isn't it? I mean, imagine how much...
Yeah.
I mean, if you had 18,000 quid to do that, surely you would just go, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go blow 18 grand on a weekend in New York and I'm going to come back with a girlfriend.
Unbelievable.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I suppose you would.
Or several.
I suppose you would.
Actually.
Anyway, listen, 18,000, fine. Now, one thing I will say about you, right, having known you all these years...
About me?
You did actually splash out on your own wedding, didn't you?
I did indeed.
In fact, spent quite a lot of money, I would say.
I did, yes.
Yeah,
well, one of the reasons was that I didn't want to have to be in thrall to my mother-in-law.
No, exactly,
or my in-laws to pay for a wedding that I was basically going to invite mostly friends to.
Sure. But guess what? That's all turned on its head now. People have now decided to spend much less on their weddings than they used to, right?
Well, weddings have become ludicrously expensive.
Well, they have in this country, but guess what they're doing now? They're just saying, our wedding's in Barbados, right? And do you know what happens then?
What?
All your guests, if there's 20 or 30 of them, actually subsidise your wedding.
Yeah.
They all actually end up paying for it.
Well, because they all go out and have to stay in the same place.
They all go, they stay in the same place. That means that you get discount. I mean, some people actually ring up a place and say, look, we're going to get married here and there'll be 30 guests. And they get the accommodation free.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, we were in Mexico last summer.
Yeah.
There was a couple from the American couple, a Sikh couple.
Right.
And they had a wedding, and because of the way the Sikhs celebrate weddings, they had a sort of ceremony more or less every day for about a week.
Right.
And there must have been about 100 people there.
Yeah, exactly.
It was amazing.
And that's what I mean. And if you do that deal and you promise the location of the wedding, all that business, the actual bride and groom...
they stay for free.
They stay for free, absolutely.
See, I'm not sure I'd want to do that, though.
Yeah, well...
I mean, as getting married, married, because, getting married, you want to get married, you have a party, then you want to disappear, don't you?
Well, I'd have thought so.
In a place for a week with all the same people. I'd have thought so.
But, listen to this. I came across this when I was, looking at potential travelling spots, OK?
Not when you were looking at potential wedding areas.
No, not at all, no.
You sure?
Oh, yeah, absolutely sure, yeah. It said one couple who were on holiday in Barbados, there was a wedding was taking place in their hotel. So they started mixing with the guests from this wedding, and they said most of the guests just complained that they were tired, that the simple beach service was all very nice for the happy couple who'd saved more than £8,000 by having the wedding abroad because they didn't have to rent the church, they didn't have to rent cars, didn't have to rent flowers for the reception, because the wedding and the reception are the same thing.
In a resort, basically.
Well, and they're all the same thing. They just happen over 2 separate days, OK?
Right.
They also said that far from having a lovely day, the guests had been marched around from pillar to post in searing heat by a nylon-suited rep to get the perfect photographs without being offered a drink. They had to buy their own drinks, OK?
Right.
And the other problem is that those guests then have used some of their own holiday allocation from their jobs back in England to come and be your guests at their wedding just to make their wedding look right. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
Also, how about this, Mike? This is even worse. Some couples now even ask the guests to cover the cost of their meals and print their bank details at the bottom of the embossed invitation. So they go all that way and spend all their own money. Yeah. When they get there, instead of taking a traditional present, I suppose you'd want to take a toaster to Barbados.
Well, exactly. That's part of the thing.
Like
although if you have a wedding list like people have in, say, I don't know, Harrods or Debenhams, they can just leave it there.
Yeah, but it's got more sophisticated than that now. Well, or less sophisticated. Yeah. Apparently, the shameless couple will now say, "Would you agree to pay £250 towards the cost of breakfast?"
Really?
Yeah. Or would you agree to pay?
That's very unfortunate, isn't it?
Would you agree to pay £500 towards the cost of the wedding breakfast? The meal itself at the reception and all this kind of stuff. It goes as far as to say, would you agree to pay for our rooms?
See, if I was invited to a wedding like that, I don't think I'd go.
Yeah. No, I don't think I would.
I would find that rather sort of cheap. To be honest. I mean, my daughter's going to get married at some point in the next couple of years.
That's right, yeah.
And so we're talking about things like the cost of it, and she doesn't want it to be ridiculously expensive.
Yes.
And I've offered to help her out with it.
Yeah.
But by the same token, I've said to her, I'm not paying for your wedding.
No, exactly, yeah.
I pay for my own wedding.
Yeah.
And of course I'll help her out with it. But originally she wanted to go to Spain. Right. Because we found this lovely sort of private beach club when we were there a few years ago.
Yeah.
And she wanted to get married there.
Yeah.
But she discovered it's not so simple to get married in Spain, because if you want to get married in Spain, you have to have been a resident there for about 6 months or something.
And haven't you got to be a member of the Catholic Church?
Not necessarily. Because it doesn't have to be a Catholic wedding.
I see.
Basically, I mean, you can, so I think at the moment she's leaning towards getting married in Scotland.
That sounds good.
Which is a lot easier.
Skibo
for people.
Castle, is it?
Skibo
Castle. Yeah.
Well, maybe
that's
somewhere
where
like
Madonna
that.
got married.
Somewhere like that.
To what's his name?
Guy.
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie. Yeah.
He lives in Fitzrovia. Well, lives around Fitzrovia Square, where my TV studios.
Didn't he keep the house in Wiltshire as well?
He kept the estate in Wiltshire.
Yeah.
It's about 1,600 acres. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, right.
Just getting back to this wedding thing, I've just double-checked that. You can actually be asked to fund the wedding itself. So you get the invitation to come Barbados, right? So you've got to pay for your own holiday to get out there.
Yeah.
Then on the bottom, there's a banking slip saying donation towards bride and groom.
See, that's all wrong to me.
Bride and groom costs.
That's all wrong.
So you actually get the wedding paid for by your guests.
I mean, one of the things I did.
That's amazing.
In New York when I got married was because we were living in a very small one-bedroom apartment.
Yes.
There was no need to ask for a sort of 24-piece, China dinner set.
No, exactly.
And a load of cutlery and stuff
exactly,
like that.
yeah.
So we went down the kind of Italian wedding route, the Greek wedding route, which was to say to people, quite shamelessly, by the way, don't worry about buying us a present.
$200.
Just, no, I never said the amount.
No, right,
just give us some money.
Okay.
Because we were relatively young and carefree, didn't really need anything. And actually, I got nearly 10 grand.
Do you know, I'm going to make a confession here.
You haven't listened to that, have you?
Yes, I have. 10 grand.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a confession.
Go on.
I don't think I gave you one single dollar.
Did you not?
I don't think so.
Really?
Where did people put the money? Was there a bin to throw it in?
No, they were just kind of handing it to me. I was kind of staggering around the reception because it was quite unorthodox. It was in our friend's apartment.
Yes, that's right.
Because
in the loft,
Bob
Smith's loft.
Yeah, down in Soho. And people were just coming up to me and sort of thrusting envelopes at me.
Right, yeah. Where did you put all these envelopes?
I was just putting them in my pocket.
Right,
I'd never done it before.
So you counted it up at the end of the day and you had 10 grand?
I didn't know you were supposed to, have a sort of a pillowcase or something to put it all in, because I wasn't expecting people to give me money anyway.
No, exactly.
I thought I'd probably get a couple of hundred quid or something.
Well, do you know what? I don't think I gave you one single dollar.
Oh, well. Maybe you give me the next wedding.
What, you get married again?
Well, no, do you?
Well, maybe we're naive. If I ever eventually, find the FMP, the first Mrs. Parry, you can give me a few grand.
But I mean, the first time I noticed it was when we'd hired this guy to be sort of DJ, right?
Right.
It was a bit of a deadbeat.
Who was this?
He was some guy. He was a friend of somebody's. He wasn't anyone.
So you didn't really know him?
No, I didn't really know him. He was one of my ex-wife's sort of friends from
right,
Connecticut,
yeah.
And he brought in a turntable and some records and stuff like
that. Yeah.
And it got to about 11 o'clock at night, and everyone was getting well-bladdered. Yeah. And he's like, I've got to stop now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean you're going to stop?
Yeah.
He said, well, you only booked me until 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, but, the party's still going on. And I think I only paid him about $250 for the whole night.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I've got to go. I said, well, why can't you stay? And I said, well, how much would you want to stay? And he said, well, you'd have to give me some more money. So I put my hand in my pocket and I pulled a sort of sheaf of hundreds.
Yes.
And that was when I first realised I had all this money.
Right.
And I gave him about another 400, which was twice as much as I'd paid him, to stay on until about 2 in the morning.
Is that right? Yeah, well, do you know, I don't think I gave you $1.
No, shocking.
Do you know what? In all these years, I've never really reflected on that.
And you see, I've never even held that against you.
Yeah, but you don't know. You were so blatherated.
Well, no, it wasn't
Go
that.
on, tell me how much each individual friend gave you. You don't know.
I've no
just
idea.
held you envelopes.
I've no idea.
Next time, I'll give you an empty envelope with a few bits of...
For Dean,
Doggy.
who texted in, he says, read the bagpipes. I think I almost got what Porky was going on about there. Could you just get him to repeat it all again so I'm 100% sure?
Yeah, OK, well...
I don't think he means that
I'll take another 20 minutes.
Seo says, laughing to hear about Porky's pen pal. What's wrong with collecting stamps?
Yeah, well, you know, I think...
The less said about that, the better.
Yeah, that's a kind of intellectual pursuit.
Rob says this, Radio 4 is on a similar intellectual level to your programme. However, I have not yet heard them discuss upside-down birds.
Really? Yeah, well, they're not with it, and I am. I tell you what...
Well, you know what's very interesting is that,
that?
more often than not, and people point this out on Twitter all the time, weeks after we've talked about something, everybody else picks it up.
I totally agree.
Did you see that spread that somebody sent in today, or yesterday, about somebody, and in the headline was the word doctor. DOGTOR.
That's right, yeah.
About the doctors, about the dogs that learn about medical or can help people with their medical problems.
And a huge dog, which a little boy had, suddenly realised the little boy had a sight impairment in one of his eyes.
Yeah.
So he walked on that side of his body to make sure he didn't bump into anything. And his parents suddenly noticed the dog's attention to that side of the lad's body, and that was great.
Extraordinary.
A couple of things here. Now, people are really looking forward to the TV review.
Yeah.
Brian says, Porky Vision, can't wait, best tea review anywhere, don't interrupt him, MG. OK, that's what he says.
I never do interrupt you.
And that's coming up later. I'm not going to tell anybody what's in it yet because, I've got a couple of really sparkling topics, OK, which you will enjoy enormously.
Yeah.
Now, you said about going back to things, right?
Yes.
Now, let me just say this. I felt there was
What do you mean? When did I say going back to things?
You just said now. That
what I said is that a lot of people, other media outlets, pick up on stuff that we've done.
That's right.
Weeks later.
Right. Well, here's a perfect example. Okay,
right.
I'm looking at the Guardian spread tomorrow from their or today, I should say, from their sports pages.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what they focused on?
What?
And this was where I was gerrymandered in winners and losers.
Why?
Who was one of my winners? Victoria Pendleton. Okay.
Yes.
Victoria Pendleton, of course.
Wasn't that the week before?
No. I had it could have been a week before.
It was the week before when she fell off the horse.
That's it.
It was the week before.
Week 4, right?
So it's actually more than 10 days ago.
10 days ago. So 10 days ago, I called Victoria Pendleton a winner.
Yeah.
And for some unknown reason.
Yeah, but that's because she won a race yesterday.
Yeah, well,
they're doing it today because she won a race.
Exactly.
But you called her a winner after falling off a horse.
Because I said she vowed to get back on the horse and win a race before Cheltenham. If she didn't win a race before Cheltenham, she couldn't ride at the Cheltenham Festival.
Oh, yeah.
She vowed to get back on the horse and win a race. What happened yesterday at Wincanton? She won a race.
Yeah.
She stayed on the horse all the way around.
Well, she would have
She's
done, otherwise she would
magnificent.
have won it.
Have you heard her speak afterwards? She's got a fantastically upmarket voice.
You love the plumminess of her,
she's got a wonderful...
She's a perfect woman, isn't
She is a perfect woman. And do you know what? She said the thing with a bike is that the bike is an inanimate object. You can't have a relationship with a bike. But you can have...
unless you're quite a sick person.
Well, exactly, yeah. unless you're off your rocker.
Remember that great thing from the 80s, a woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle.
That's right, yeah, I do.
Everybody went, what on earth does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? That's right. What's the price of fish and all that? But what she said is, you can have a relationship with a horse. So she really loves... No, not like that, you idiot. What she means is... that
I've seen pictures of
look,
that in the past.
What she meant is, she meant when you've rode your bike to a gold medal,
yes,
you can't feed your bike a sugar lump, right?
You certainly can't.
But when you've ridden
or
a horse,
carrot.
No, or a carrot. That's right. When you've ridden your horse and you've jumped over the jumps, and all that, and you've gone through the physical endeavour,
yes,
of going ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom.
Is that how it goes?
That's how it goes. Yeah.
Okay.
And when
I hope she's not going to be at Cheltenham and we are.
Well,
it'll be a bit of an embarrassing scenario.
Well, anyway, but then when you finish, you slip off your horse and you can give your horse a sugar cube, or a carrot, or a few digestive biscuits, or whatever the horse eats, right?
Do you know, by
as
the way,
a reward?
I did mention
you can't reward a bike because a bike's inanimate.
No, that's true. Yeah, another statement of the bleeding obvious.
Well,
from you.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. You know that we've been approached by a trainer to name a horse.
We have actually, haven't we? Yes.
I'll bring you some news on that shortly.
Okay, that's good.
Because I've given a couple of suggestions.
Yeah.
We'll just wait for him to come back to us.
Yeah.
Now, a couple more tweets for you.
Right.
Maxwell says this. For the record, Bala Lake is 39 miles away from Mount Snowdon.
Yes, I know that.
# plank.
I know that. But it's still in Snowdonia.
Well, it may well be.
It is, you see.
Now, another bit of news for you.
Okay.
Well, let me just read you this. Si the Trucker says, so Porky has to talk in rapid thought actions then, does he?
What's
is that
mean?
a code word for complete cobblers?
What do you mean?
You
What's
said
that?
you spoke in rapid thought thought, actually...
Well, what I mean is that I've got so much information in my head that if I don't sort of release it through my mouth when it's there, it just disappears into the ether. You know,
what a tragedy that would be.
Disappears like words into a paper cup across the universe. OK, does that remind you of anything?
It does. It's a Beatles song. Yes. As recorded by David Bowie, which you got wrong, of course, in the Bowie quiz, didn't you? You didn't know that he'd recorded it. Now, speaking of recording, you might know that Hawksby and Jacobs, a very fine afternoon team from 1 o'clock till 4 o'clock here on TalkSport.
Of course, one of the best radio shows in the world, in my view.
Clips of the week, of course, every Friday, but they've now got Clips of the Month on the go.
Oh, right, OK.
And you may not be surprised to know that you've made their shortlist.
Oh, excellent.
So would you like to have a listen?
Yeah, I certainly would, please. Thank you.
It's Mike Parry now, taking to Twitter.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a very offensive tweet here from a fellow called Bill. I don't know why he suddenly got offensive. But he says, "Oh, yes, let's talk about another billionaire. Nobody cares, Porky. You're a plank. Man of the people, my anus."
Yeah, we could have done without that, really, Mike. You could have cleaned it up for us.
It was great if it was from Bill Cameron.
Hang on, I did clean it up.
Yeah, I know you
perfect,
did.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
I mean, what the man
You
said...
thought you cleaned it up, but actually you didn't really clean it up.
Well, he said, man of the people, my arse, right?
Yeah, well, so why have you said it now? You didn't say it then.
Well, because I thought that I should spare our family audience, the vulgarity of that word.
Yeah, but anus isn't actually better.
Anus
what was the name of that guy you were quoting yesterday?
Who?
Mr. Amish.
No, that was Anish. A-N-I-S-H, yeah.
Sir, was it Sir Anish?
I think it was, Sir Anish, yeah, that's right, yeah. But anus appears in the Oxford English Dictionary. Arse does not.
I bet arse does as well, actually.
No, it doesn't. No.
Are you sure?
And I just like to let you know that, so that people know that it's still a family show and they can still tune in, OK?
Yeah, all right.
I mean, I do honestly take umbrage sometimes at people who pick me up on every single word I say. You've got to remember that when I'm trying to cover so many topics in so many different areas of life, when I have, to research in my journals every day to make sure that the information I want to convey to our millions of listeners is correct, then you're bound to, come to a crossroads where you occasionally take the wrong turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you've already come out with all that nonsense. Now, my point was about playing the clip was that if you go to the TalkSport website, talksport.com, you can probably find on the Hawksby and Jacob page a place to vote for your particular clip.
Oh, why? Sorry, are there a load of contenders for the clip of the month?
Yeah, you haven't won it.
Oh, I see.
Do you know anything about the process? The process is that they do the clips of the week, and these are the clips of the week for February, right? Because we're now just into March.
Yeah.
And what happens is by the end of the week, they will have compiled the votes, and so you might win if enough people vote for you.
What's the point of having any others?
You see, this is why people think you're a complete and utter, philosophical nightmare.
No, not at all.
Because you're full of yourself.
No, I'm not full of myself.
You don't automatically win it every month.
Yeah, but I'm a bit like Zoolander, in the first Zoolander film.
A bit like Zoolander. Nothing like Zoolander.
I can, it's difficult for me to see beyond myself sometimes.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I know that.
But I don't mean that arrogantly. I mean that because...
But it comes across as very arrogant.
No, well, I don't mean to be arrogant. Please don't take that as arrogant. Please vote for me in the clip of the month. All I meant was that I fully understand myself in a way I don't understand others. That's all.
Why don't you say vote Porky, vote often?
Yeah, please. Let's have a vote Porky, vote often scenario. Yeah. That would suit me down to the ground.
Now,
it really
coming
would.
up, I'm going to tell you about a new Beatles film that's coming out.
A Beatles film?
There's a Beatles film.
Didn't know there was one.
Yeah, well, I'll be telling you all about it coming up next.
Sounds
here
very
on
exciting.
TalkSport.
Two TalkSport teams are about to go big as they take on the Heinz Big Soup Challenge on TalkSport. Listen to Colin Murray next Tuesday from 10 as our two intrepid teams battle it out live in the studio in a tricky test of sporting trivia, with the winners taking the ultimate prize, the VIP hospitality package of a lifetime. Don't miss the Heinz Big Soup Challenge with Heinz Big Soup. Heinz Big Soup. Go big or go hungry.
Park for free at Westfield Stratford City with Aspers Casino. Become an Aspire member, and whenever you visit Aspers, you park for free. Aspers is London's only super casino. Open 24/7 with free membership and free parking until the end of March. You're onto a winner. Terms apply. Details at asperstratford.co.uk. Over 18s, play responsibly, gambleaware.co.uk.
Even if you are driving high, you've got no reason to be pulled over, have you? It's not like the weed is affecting you. Anyway, you know these roads, and the police can't tell you're stoned, can they? It's not like your eyes are red or you're acting a bit strange. You'll be fine. Except if you get pulled over, the roadside swab will be able to tell that you've done drugs on the spot. leading to a criminal record, a minimum 12-month driving ban, and a large fine. Think. Don't take drugs and drive.
Only one feature of the new Mini Cooper Clubman demands more attention than its striking design. Spacious interior, seating for 5, and satellite navigation as standard. And that's the stunning offer. So let your head be turned by the new Mini Cooper Clubman. From £239 a month, plus initial rental. Book a test drive at your nearest Mini Centre or mini.co.uk/offer. 48-month hire agreement from Mini Financial Services, £3,059 initial rental, subject to status, guarantees may be required. Available for new vehicles ordered by 31st of March and registered by 30th of June. Participating retailers only. Mileage and other conditions apply when you return the vehicle. Visit mini.co.uk/offer.
Roll up, ladies and gentlemen, and prepare to be amazed and astounded by Colin Murray's Carnival of Curiosities, featuring a feast of fascinating facts and a farrago of fiendish falsehoods to untangle from the tantalising truths as Mr. Murray delights and astonishes you with his assortment of amicable acquaintances. Don't miss Fact or Fiction every Thursday morning from 10 on Talk Sport with Regain for Men Extra Strength Scalp Foam, scientifically proven to help stop and even reverse hereditary hair loss. Contains minoxidil. Always read the label.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
Well, I didn't have any luck yesterday at Chester.
This morning from 6.
I'm trying to watch Saturday, Sunday to get my money back.
On Talk Sport.
Which is obviously about an hour ago, but I'm only just reading it out now.
Right, and what's...
That's a little bit of a sort of Bridget Jones type.
What's
reference.
Relationship status mean?
Well, you know Bridget Jones's Diary, right? Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
You've seen the movie?
Seen the film, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, she's always doing things like, you know, relationship status, this.
She wasn't very attractive, really, was she?
What? The Zellweger.
Who?
Zellweger.
Renée Zellweger, was it? Yeah, did she deliberately put weight on for the film?
She did, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Well, I mean, she's been the subject of many Daily Mail features where her weight has gone up and down depending on the film she was in.
I see.
I thought she was brilliant in that film.
Yeah. Which one?
Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to work out which one that was. That wasn't Notting Hill.
No.
She was in that as well, wasn't she?
No, she wasn't in that.
Wasn't she?
No.
Oh. So
that was Julia Roberts.
Ah, okay. Right, so
she was in Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah, which was Hugh Grant and Colin, what's his name?
Colin, what's his name? Yes.
Firth. Colin Firth.
Yeah, where they had the fight.
And do you know what my everlasting memory of that film is?
What?
How false the snow looked when he stormed off to get her a present at the end or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Don't you think so?
Yeah, they filmed it all around Borough Market.
Did they?
Yeah. That fight scene and everything.
Fight? What fight?
Well, where she lived. Well, that was the whole point. Have you ever seen any films to the end?
What I remember about it is that Hugh Grant seduced her in his office and told her he wanted plain, straightforward sex, but she had big knickers on. Is that right?
There is.
Is that the film?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Right, well, I remember
there's more
that.
than one of them. There's about 3 of them.
3 what?
Films.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, okay. And then,
3 what?
And then Colin Firth steps in and says, "No, I want you to marry me." He's a bounder. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
And then he goes off to buy her a present. Sorry, what's the problem?
And then the second one is Hugh Grant whisks her off to Thailand.
Who does?
Hugh Grant.
Oh, right. He fights back and says, I want you, actually.
Yeah, it's a continuing saga.
Sounds like a drivel to me.
Well, you know Bridget Jones's Diary started off in The Independent, don't you?
It was a column.
Yes, that's right.
Written by a female journalist called Sue.
Sue? No. I don't think so.
Is it the woman who's sort of half blind? Sorry, what's the problem? No, there is. There's a woman columnist who sadly suffers visual impairment.
No, I don't think so.
She wrote for The Guardian, then she might have gone to The Independent or something.
Yeah, no,
anyway,
I think so.
What was the name?
I can't remember her name.
Hang on.
It wasn't Renée Zellweger.
No, I was going to say so. Oh,
I'll have a look for you.
Because I always get confused with the woman who wrote Adrian Mole, aged 12 3/4 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was another woman, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Is that a woman?
Helen Fielding's her name.
Oh, Helen Fielding. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay.
Now,
that's interesting.
What I was going to tell you about.
Yes.
I don't know if you recognise that piece of music that we came back from. Did you recognise that?
Yes, of course I did. It was Ringo Starr. All I've got to do is act naturally.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, because Ron Howard...
They're going to put me in the movies,
the award-winning film director.
Right.
Is going to make a movie about the Beatles'
Is he?
live performances.
Oh, okay.
And
how's this going to work?
Well, nobody really
live
knows.
Footage?
Because they didn't really play that many live concerts.
Well, they gave that up in 1966.
Exactly. And the piece that I'm looking at here, which is from the NME, says that basically after that show in Candlestick Park in 1966,
San
George
Francisco.
Harrison said, well, in that case, case, I'm not a Beatle anymore. If we're going to do any more, he just said, I'm not going to do any more live shows. And John Lennon was the same.
No, John Lennon hated it.
So they said, we're not going to do it anymore.
John Lennon unplugged his guitar during that show and said, what's the point? Nobody can hear us.
Yeah, exactly.
Because all they had was, like, you know, how many... 20,000 people or 25,000 people?
What I didn't know
all screaming.
Was not only could nobody hear them because the equipment wasn't particularly good and they were all screaming, but they were also throwing jelly babies at them.
That's right. George Harrison. He made a comment in a magazine that his favourite confectionery, you know, like candy, over there was jelly babies, and all these women came with boxes of jelly babies and started chucking them at him.
Yeah,
that's right.
So I mean, basically, this piece is saying this is what they've got to include. They've got to include some stuff from Hamburg, the early days. They've got to do the Budokan that they played in Japan.
Right,
in 1966. The Candlestick Bar, obviously, Shea Stone, good film.
Yeah, but the problem with a film like that is that everybody knows that Apollo 13 got back to Earth. So there's not much suspension or tension in it because you know it's all going to come right.
Well, you might as well say there's no point watching Titanic because you know what happens at the end.
No, not at all, because in Titanic, a lot of people died, so that's a better film because it's tragedy. An element of tragedy to it.
Yeah, but you know what's happening, though.
Yeah, but you know also...
But your argument is that Apollo 13 is no good because you know that everybody gets back.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
But not everybody does know that.
No, of course they do.
No, they don't.
Of course they do. Everybody knows that they get back.
No.
What I'm saying is the Titanic, the great appeal of Titanic was... Crikey, this huge ship went down, you know, and it was unsinkable and all that. And to see the whole thing unfolding, you know, in graphic detail was absolutely and utterly fascinating.
Well, the Titanic?
Yeah, the Titanic. And the misery inflicted upon those who lost friends.
Apollo 13 was a much better film than Titanic.
No, Apollo 13 was boring, long-winded. I walked out halfway through it.
Well, you've never seen any film to the end. I mean, you described your favourite movie, Top Gun.
Yes.
And you described the ending.
Yes.
And we had a whole raft of people complaining, saying, that's not how it ends.
Well, it's the way I interpret it. Now, listen, I want to talk to you about tyres.
Yes.
Very important.
Yeah, funnily enough, I was looking at your tyres as I was coming in.
Yeah.
And one of your tyres looks as though it's got a slight nick in it.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I mean, and, you know, this is...
You've got a real problem with tyres, haven't you?
Well, I had 3 new tyres on my last car, right, which was a fairly basic Mercedes.
Like that warning on your on your dash, didn't you?
Yeah, because I thought it would be better to get a more compact Mercedes for driving out of London once I decided we were going to do this show. It was perfect for it. But however, I didn't...
But you dumped that now for a newer Mercedes, which is much flashier.
Yeah, well, it's not that. I just didn't feel at all special.
Flashy.
I didn't feel at all special in this car.
Well, you're not special.
So
why should you feel special?
Well, you know, I like to have that sort of feeling.
But now you're talking about getting an Aston Martin.
I am definitely seriously thinking about that. Because but I mean, you know, you get to a stage in life where you think, well, why not? You know, if you hold a lot of money...
You'd look ridiculous in an Aston Martin.
No, I wouldn't. I'd look great.
No, you wouldn't.
If you hold a lot of money in bricks and mortar, what's the point? You can't drive a house to work. So, anyway...
Unless you have a caravan, of course.
Yeah, unless you have a caravan. So, what I was going to say was this, right? So, I have this technique for parking, which is pretty brilliant. If I come up to a space...
Yeah.
Instead of going forward and then reversing into the space and then nudging it this way and all that, what I do is I go in forwards and I drive the wheel up onto the curb and then pull...
Well, that's not very good for the car.
Well, hang on. Pull the steering wheel, you know, to...
See, that is a very arrogant way to park.
But
it doesn't surprise me.
And then it just drops in perfectly.
Yeah,
no problem.
But that's not good for the suspension.
Well,
let me
tell you.
It's also not good for the wheel balancing either.
Well, you're probably right. So, in fact, I found out you are right. So what happened was last weekend I was down on the coast and I had to pull up to the co-op. And
the
co-op. I was going to the co-op to shop.
Do you mean the co-op?
The co-op.
The co-op?
Yes.
The second syllable is not where you put the...
well, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway.
It's a co-op.
So
co-op.
So I come to this one space, you know, in a long row, and I thought, that's easy. So I'm turning in left, and I mount the pavement, right, with my left front wheel, and then obviously pull the steering wheel right, and it comes back and drops back onto the road.
The danger of parking like that as well is that you could hit a pedestrian.
No, I was watching. There were no pedestrians, honestly. It was Sunday and it was quiet. And I thought, great, that's fine. Anyway, nothing else happened. Did shopping, put it in the boot and all this kind of stuff, you know. And then I got back to my place, and as I got out of the car, for some unknown reason, I had to go to the side of the car for something. And I thought, hang on, that's funny.
So it was your offside
Yes, it was offside.
Thing.
Well, obviously, the steering wheel is on the right-hand side of cars, and I just told you I'd pulled into the left, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I thought, that's funny, I've picked up some, you know, like mud or something. I couldn't remember being in a field or anything like that. So
no, because you'd think you'd remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, I leaned down, and there's a flap of rubber. and underneath it's canvas. Yeah, a flap of rubber.
What, you mean it's actually been ripped away from the
what
the
I've
wall
done
of the tyre?
What I've done is, as I've lifted the wheel onto the curb, it's torn the tyre.
Well, so something... Yeah, but that's unusual, because, I mean, you would think that... so you must have mounted the curb sort of sideways then,
too aggressively, instead
of like if you turn the wheel enough, it would have gone up properly.
That's right.
You must have not turned it enough.
I must have not turned it enough or something. But the difference is, in my old car and in your 4x4, you have like big thick rubber wheels, rubber tyres.
Yes.
In my car, the old 3.5 litre Merc. The
3.5 litre now?
3.5 litre. Yes.
I thought it was 3 litre.
No, 3.5 litre.
Are you sure?
I'm certain. It's called a Merc 350, okay? No problem, yeah. Now, can I just tell you...
I thought it was an E350.
It is. Yeah. What did I say?
I said Merc 350.
Well, it's a Merc E. But anyway, look, so as you've seen in these sort of cars, the tyres are so...
well, it's the alloy wheels that are very big, aren't they?
It's huge alloy wheels.
Are they 20 inches or something?
Something like that.
19.
And a very narrow tyre,
yes.
if you see what I mean. So there's no cushioning whatsoever.
So the wall of the tyre is actually only about an inch or so, isn't it?
It's about an inch. That's all it is.
And you've wrecked that bit, have you?
I've wrecked that bit of it, yeah. So, but, the tyre hasn't burst. Now, the funny thing is, I came back up the A3 last Sunday evening.
I'd be very careful if
I'm thinking to myself, crikey, that, I didn't notice it until, funny enough, I didn't notice it until after I'd got back, if you see what I mean, when I parked up on Sunday night back in Surrey. And then I thought, wow, that's a bit dangerous. So I haven't had time to get it done yet. It hasn't burst yet, but I think it is going to burst. Or at least
I think you should be very careful.
I think when you go through the rubber onto canvas, I'm thinking, but the thing is, the Merc is so computer literate that it would have told me by now if the tyre was suffering.
If there was a problem with the pressure,
yes, it would,
Yeah, and even if it was one of those run flat tyres, you'd think would inform you. But I would still get it checked.
I'm going to have to. But you know how much a replacement tyre is?
I don't know, a couple £100.
Yeah, probably.
It will be, yeah.
It will be, yeah.
When I had a C-Class Sport,
yes,
the tyres were £250 each.
Oh, that's terrible.
And they'll be smaller than your one.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Could be £300 for a tyre.
But luckily, if you lease the car, though, you don't have to pay for the tyres.
Well, you do if you wreck them yourself. You don't have to...
No, you don't.
No, you do. You do. Oh, definitely. No, on the agreement I've got on the car is I pay for everything. No, it's not a problem.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you've been done.
No. I mean, it's my fault because I parked badly. And so
finally, you've admitted to doing something wrong.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
This is a red letter day.
I did.
This is an extraordinary admission.
I did.
You've never done that before.
No, but I could have done it in my old car without damaging the tyre, but unfortunately it's damaged,
Right.
But anyway, there we are.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah,
let's hope nothing terrible happens to you on your way home.
Exactly, I hope not. No.
This is Talk Sport. Porky Vision's next.
Talk Sport on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Freedom for sport.
Can we kick it? Yes, we can. Talk Sport.
Crocodile Shoes is a theme song to Crocodile Shoes, not Spender.
Yeah, but he played Spender in Crocodile Shoes, didn't he? Well, I think so.
I mean, you're the expert.
No,
you're
hang
the
on.
guy.
Spender was a different series, yeah.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics, and that music can mean only one thing. It is time for the best TV review in the world.
Indeed.
By Mr. Mike Porky Parry. It's
Indeed.
Porky Vision time.
Indeed-o. Now, listen, I want to tell you about the Night Manager, OK?
Yes.
It is the Night Manager, isn't it?
The Night Manager,
That's right, yeah.
Not the Night Watchman.
No.
Not the Midnight Man.
No. Now, the Night Manager, the first episode was largely nebulous.
Was it?
Largely irrelevant.
Right.
It was just kind of...
Wasn't it sort of laying the groundwork?
It was kind of trying to set out a complicated plot.
Right.
But it was too complicated for most people to appreciate.
OK.
So the second episode's the one to concentrate on, which has been this week.
And this is a show that was that started, a week or so ago on BBC, I think, isn't it?
Yes. This is the second episode.
I know.
I saw the second episode on Sunday night, right?
Yes.
And it's brilliant.
OK.
Absolutely brilliant,
right.
OK? Now, what happens is the plot is... it becomes much more simple. Olivia Colman, the lady from
Broadchurch.
Broadchurch, thank you. The lady from Broadchurch.
Oh, was she the police officer?
What, in Broadchurch? Yeah, she was the sergeant.
That's right.
Whose husband was eventually the murderer, right? OK?
Was he?
Yeah. Yeah, it was the murderer who murdered the kid with the phone, you know.
But I can't remember who ended up being actually found guilty.
It was him, and then in the second... then in the second series of Broadchurch, he said he wasn't the murderer.
That's what
Do you
I'm
remember?
saying. That's what I mean.
He was in court and said, "No, I didn't do it."
My sense is that it was never really resolved.
Yeah. Well, I think they left it open for a third series. To be honest, yeah. So anyway, what happens is Olivia, what's her name again? Olivia
what?
What did I call her?
I don't know.
She's in Broadchurch. Her name's Olivia Coleman. Coleman, right?
Yeah.
She's on a train in Switzerland with this guy. Yeah. Who is a former SAS man, whose father was also in the regiment, but who got taken out by an international crook called...
Taken out as in killed?
Yes, that's right, by an international crook called Roper.
Roper?
I think his name was Roper. Anyway... It
sounds like something like George and Mildred.
Yeah, it does a bit, doesn't it? Yeah, George Roper.
Not much of a name for a spy.
Anyway, the point is, this guy is played by Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Now...
House,
that's right, yeah. The highest paid actor in the world per episode. $1.25 million an episode. That's not bad, is it?
Not bad at all.
So anyway, the brilliant thing about it is that it's the settings. The settings are magnificent, right?
And so it's actually filmed in these places, is it?
Yeah, it's filmed in these places. So she's on this train in the Alps and all, right? But she's really, actually, a member of MI6, right?
Okay.
Secret Service, okay?
So what's she doing on the train?
Well, she's on the train because she's sort of conveniently bumped into this guy whose father was rubbed out by the international villain. Yeah. And she sort of, conveniently arrived at the same ski resort on a family skiing holiday where this guy is.
Okay.
So she's on the train.
So she's travelling with her family?
Well, she's not actually. She's on her own.
Right.
Her family are there, but she's not with the family at the time she meets this guy.
Okay, right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So she says... Look, we need to talk. So they get talking over a drink in a bar, and she puts it to him, we've got to take Roper out, the man who did your father in.
Yeah.
We're going to give you first option.
Right.
And he says, well, what do I have to do? She says, you've got to go undercover and get in his gang.
Okay.
And then kill him from within.
Right.
So
is this guy the night manager, then?
I don't know who the night manager is, actually, to be honest. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it's called the night manager. I haven't worked that out yet. But don't worry, I will.
All right.
Anyway, and she says, it could get really nasty. This guy's an international crime baron, but has a respectable front.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Sure.
So he runs, like, charitable organisations, but he's actually a gun runner.
Right.
And his father had gone on a mission to sort him out previously.
And failed.
20 years earlier, and this man had killed him.
Fallen foul of him, yeah.
Roper had killed him.
Yeah.
But it's the settings which are so brilliant, because what happens is, it opens with this beautiful woman who is Roper's mistress, getting dressed in her bedroom. She's an actress.
Yeah.
She's an actress.
Yeah, but nobody you recognise.
No. But very elegant, elegant. And they all gather on the, what's the word? The deck, I suppose. Terrace, thank you. That's a good word, yeah. The terrace of Roper's Majorcan castle.
Oh, I love Mallorca.
Yeah, Majorcan castle. But round the back of the island, you know what I mean? Not on the busy side.
The north side.
On the north side, that's right,
Where all the cliffs are.
Where all the cliffs are, completely right.
I know exactly where you are.
Right, so what happens is they all have a few drinks on the terrace, and she's formed a very close relationship with Roper. The actress I've just told you about, the mistress. She's the mistress.
Right.
She's got dressed, she's very elegant, but she's formed a close relationship with his 8-year-old son.
Oh, right.
Okay? From his previous marriage or whatever, Yeah. Anyway,
so she's like stepmother.
She's not married to him, but she's his girlfriend, So, and Hugh Laurie plays, a man who's confident in his own skin.
Oh, so Hugh Laurie plays the bad guy?
Hugh Laurie plays the bad guy, but he's not like a sort of... You remember The Long Good Friday?
Yeah.
When Bob Hoskins played a rough and ready, rough diamond gangster.
Right.
Oh, no, Hugh Roper, he could have come out of Eton College. Hugh Laurie. Hugh Laurie could have come out of Eton College.
Yes.
And a lot of villains did, including Mr. Nice. Remember Mr. Nice?
Yeah.
He went to Eton, I think, didn't he? Yeah, I think he did, yeah.
Like, Marx?
Yeah, Howard Marks, who became the biggest cannabis dealer in the world, Did
he go to Eton?
I think he did. He went to Oxford. He went to Oxford University.
Okay.
Which, incidentally, so did Hugh Laurie.
Yeah. It's all coming together, isn't it?
So anyway, what they do is then... It's
see the time.
Yeah, don't worry. It's so glamorous.
Yeah.
They go down and they get in two boats.
Yeah.
And these two fantastic speedboats take them... a few miles down the coast to this fantastic restaurant, which is also built on the top of a cliff.
Right.
Right, so anyway...
I wonder if I've been to this. I've been to a restaurant at the top of a cliff in Mallorca.
Maybe you have. Maybe
it's on one of the promontories.
Yeah, and it's got a lovely terrace as well, and they're all dining there, and they're dancing and all this, you know what I mean?
I bet you that's the one I've been to.
Maybe you have been.
I'll have to watch this show.
Anyway, a stranger arrives, which isn't unusual because there's lots of rich people driving around in speedboats. But the stranger turns out to be an even worse villain than the Roper guy. And he's come there to rob everybody in the restaurant, but then realises he's got very rich people. So kidnaps this 8-year-old boy, takes him with him with a gun at his head.
Well, he should have known better, shouldn't he? He should have known Roper was a mad criminal himself.
Well, that has not yet emerged as to how this man could have made a mistake in kidnapping the son of one of the world's top international criminals.
Right.
However, by this time... the other guy's accepted the mission to get inside, and the way he's going to get inside is he's going to go down to Devon, back in England, and take over the local supply of drugs. You see what I mean?
Right.
Because then Roper will come and say, "What are you doing, muscling on my operation?"
So is that one of his patches then?
Yeah, exactly. But the guy's so hard because he's a former SAS man. He just breaks the noses and the faces of anybody who's sent along. So eventually Roper will say, we need this guy on our side. You know what I mean? So that's the plan. But where it gets interesting is he goes down...
But I think it says there's a Rogerisation in it.
I'm about to tell you if you just shut up and listen.
Well, you haven't got any time.
So, yeah, we have. So he goes down on his motorbike and he calls in at the post office in a very remote village and says, we've got the keys to the cottage, you know. Yes, OK, fine. You know, what's your business? He says, never mind, you know, and all this. It's a mysterious character. But anyway, the woman in the post office... This is in Devon. Woman in the post office turns up next day and says, I brought you supplies. He said, I didn't order any. She said, you have now. So he, boom, 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 decides, this is a Rogerisation opportunity.
The woman from the post office is quite comely then.
Oh, no, she's nice. She's nice. She's a widow, or separated from her husband or something like that, And while he's doing all this, he's breaking the faces of everybody who comes along. Because he moves in and says to this guy, stop dealing heroin round here, you know? And the guy says, oh, yeah? Do you know who I represent? He says, I know you represent. And he breaks his face, you know what I mean? So the plot is that the Roper guy, who by now has been distracted by the fact that his son has been kidnapped, right? Yeah. Will eventually become aware of the fact that this guy's muscled in his patch in England and then will send somebody to sort him out. Right. But the guy who is the undercover guy will in fact murder Roper's man. Okay. You see what I mean? Because he's better than him, you know. He was a top SAS boy and all that kind of stuff.
Kill a man with 26 different ways.
Exactly, and all that kind of stuff. And then he'll say, look, I got rid of that dummy that you sent to finish me off. Right. You better employ me now. Yes. And then once inside, he will finish off Roper by shooting him on his terrace and he'll fall off into the Mediterranean.
But that hasn't happened yet, though.
None of that's happened yet.
How do you know that's going to happen?
Well, I can see.
I've been looking at like the episodes from the future.
No, but when I see these things and I work out the plot and the way, which way would I do it, I can see over the Himalayas the way the plot should go. Really? The other thing I want to tell you about, very quickly, To the Manor Born, this week I saw the very first episode.
Yeah, you told me that yesterday.
Yeah, no, I told you. I haven't told our millions of listeners. Yeah. And it's fantastic. And do you know what? You know the woman who plays To the Manor Born woman?
Yeah, Penelope Keith.
Yeah, Penelope Keith is a widow. Her husband's died. And then she finds she's got huge tax bills. She's got to sell the manor. Richard de Vere buys it. He's played by that very smooth actor.
The guy with the moustache.
Yeah, guy with the moustache. Yeah. Peter Bowles.
Yes, I think so.
Peter Bowles, that's right. And the difference is that in The Good Life, Penelope Keith was quite a sexy, upmarket, sort of lady, you know what I mean? In this, she's a dowdy, country-loving woman who wears, what's that fabric?
She's a snob. Laura Ashley.
No, they wear this stuff called... Tweed. Wearing tweed brogues and all that, and she's totally unsexy.
Tweed brogues?
Yeah, tweed and brogues. And I can't see how Richard de Vere, Peter Bowles, can possibly fancy her, but he does.
Well, she's rich.
No, she's not. She's poor.
Yeah, but she's technically rich.
No, he's had to throw her out of the house, and he bought the house, and she had to move into the lodge. But it was great to see the very first episode of a legendary programme.
Really?
Yeah.
Marvellous.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic.
Well,
so I'll keep you posted on that one as well.
All right.
There'll be a few more episodes of that I'll see each day, probably.
That was Porky Vision. And, of course, more of the same. At the same time next week here on Talk Sport.
Indeed.
If you fancy a flutter on the football, a gamble on the golf, a double on the darts, or a treble on the tennis, you're in luck. Get closer to the action every weekend with Betway's Man in the Know on the Weekend Sports Breakfast with Georgie Bingham and Mickey Quinn.
bringing you all the form on the football, the going at Goodwood, the tries at Twickenham, and the overs at the Oval. Every Saturday and Sunday morning from 7 on TalkSport with Betway. Bet the responsible way.
An attack has decimated the British capital.
What do you want?
London descending into chaos.
This Thursday, London will fall and a hero will rise.
Stay with me. We'll get you out of here.
Gerard Butler, Aaron Eckhart, and Morgan Freeman.
Get down!
Don't miss the sequel to Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh my God.
London Has Fallen in cinemas Thursday. Rated 15.
Employers across the UK, however small the business, will soon have to offer a workplace pension. Don't ignore the workplace pension. It's the law. Visit workplacepensions.gov.uk.
Budweiser are scouting our amateur football nation for the back-of-the-net beauties that never get celebrated to find the best dream goal. Send us a video of your ultimate shirt-off screamer for the chance to get your greatest goal seen on TV by millions and analysed by Budweiser's team of expert pundits, including Jamie Redknapp and Jamie Carragher. Upload your dream goal and watch the best at budweiser.co.uk/dreamgoal.
Entry closes 25th of April. Over 25s only. Terms and conditions apply. Please drink responsibly.
If your fence is the cause of some offence, then don't sit on the fence. Get down to your local Jewson before the end of March. We've got in-size fence posts from only $5.95 and lap fence panels from only $16.99. Fantastic fencing deals at ring fence prices at Jewson. To find your nearest branch, visit jewson.co.uk today. Jewson, fantastic offers made for the trade. Prices exclude VAT at 20%. For terms and conditions, see jewson.co.uk.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast on Talk Sport with the new Ford Ranger. It's the breakfast show that's always ready to take on any challenge.
Join me, Alan Brazil, and a different co-host every weekday morning from 6 a.m. as we tackle all the big stories of the day.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Weekday mornings from 6 on Talk Sport with the new Ford Ranger. Ruthlessly tested across the harshest terrain on Earth. Find out more at ford.co.uk. Talk Sport.
Can they rescue this game?
Learn to love the ball.
Wiry, thin, and whip it quick.
On DAB, digital radio, and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Fabulous shots.
Don't miss out.
Oh, yeah. Talk Sport.
Yeah, now, let me read you a few tweets.
Okay.
Here's one from, let's see, James. Apparently, low-profile tyre is the correct term for your tyres.
Oh, is that it? Yeah, well, that's what it is. Yeah.
Adrian
I think they're horribly expensive as well.
They probably are.
Yeah.
Porky, that tyre is now illegal and will get you 4 points, never mind dangerous, and it could burst.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the advice.
Lee says, at last something Porky can't do, park his car.
Yeah, it's true.
Hashtag plank.
Yeah.
Dave says, I'd be careful with that tyre, Porky. I paid £140 for one at Mercedes on a C220.
Wow.
I think you're looking at minimum $250 a tyre.
God, blimey, that's terrible, isn't it?
Here's one from John who says, why does Porky have to mention the size of his tiny engine every time he tells us about his Mercedes? He should have got the 6.2 AMG.
The rubber, if I'd have stayed with a Jaguar, I was going to get a Jaguar XK, and that's a 5-litre engine. 5-litre petrol engine.
Which will suck the money out your wallet in terms of putting petrol.
Not only that, but I mean, who'd want a 5-litre size engine, to be honest? I just think it's a bit excessive, you know?
Well, you know, I can't remember if I was watching one of these Johnny English films or something. One of the kids,
the Aston Martin,
No, he's got the Rolls Royce.
Oh, yes.
Which has got a 9-litre engine.
I know, it's amazing, isn't
Incredible. And it's like a V12 or something like that.
V12.
Steve says, I can't believe Porky is driving with a tyre in that condition. It's both illegal and very dangerous. Be careful.
Well, it's not ripped. It's a flap of rubber, right, which you lift up and you see the canvas
sound
below.
good, though.
No, it's not good. I agree, because quite apart from anything else, if I go over a hazard or something like that, you know, that's a vulnerable part of the tyre, isn't it?
Now, if you quote...
in fact, you might go into a pothole in this country and bang, it might suddenly go.
Yeah. Now, it says here from Dave, you've got that all wrong, hashtag the night manager. His dad wasn't killed by Roper.
I thought he was.
Yeah. And also one from somebody who doesn't give a name. Does Porky actually watch these programmes? The guy getting into Roper's gang starts off as the night manager of a hotel in the first episode. That's why he's called the night manager.
But that wasn't very good. That wasn't very good. I ignored that. First episode, yeah.
Bill says, Roper's Mallorcan castle sounds like George and Mildred just bought a Costa del Sol timeshare.
Well, it could be. You mentioned that yourself, but it is a very impressive building, believe me. Yeah.
And Becky says, stunning Porky vision, informative, punchy and on topic.
Yes.
Don't have any ideas on the characters' names, though.
No, well, it doesn't matter about that, does it? I explain the characters to you so you know them well.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, listen, we mentioned there somebody, who was it? Hugh Laurie, right?
Yes.
He's got grey hair.
He has.
He's been around for so long.
Yes.
But you know that you have to have grey hair in future? You know, you accused me earlier in the show of, your hair's gone grey. I said, well, it's not really. I rinse it this colour now.
Your hair's white.
Yeah, OK, well, I rinse it this colour now. But the gene that turned your hair grey has been identified, right?
Yeah.
And scientists now can take it out. So
yeah, but I think that's wrong, don't you? I mean, first of all, if you have grey hair, what's the problem? I mean, there are young women now who like to actually dye their hair grey.
Yeah.
Because they want it to look like it's, like, I don't think it will look older.
Yeah, well, in that case, you can have the choice whether you stay auburn or blonde or whatever, whether you go grey.
Why can't you just accept that you age? And if your hair goes a bit grey, what's the problem?
Now, do you know where the scientists...
I couldn't care less if my hair went grey. I mean, my hair isn't very grey.
No, it's not, actually. You've got good head of hair, I have to say.
Thank you very much.
Now, what I was going to say is, you know that, like, people in Latin are very lucky to have spent some time...
Now, do you want to hold on to that thought for a moment?
Good idea.
And finish it in a second, because the show's nearly over. Incredibly.
Why were we playing Pyongyang there?
I think just because we haven't heard it for a while.
And also, there has been actually some footage out of North Korea today about a new military parade,
Yes.
They've got bigger weapons and all that. So people eating bark off the trees in the parks in Pyongyang, and yet they're still...
parks.
Yeah, the bark parks. Yeah, good alliteration, that.
Thank you.
And they're still building missiles. No, what I was going to say about
North Korea has fired a number of short-range missiles into the Sea of Japan.
Oh, I see.
And that's all they can ever do.
Yeah, they're always doing that.
They always fire them into the sea.
Yeah, a hopeless bunch of people.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is, so they experimented on these people from South America because they've got very dark black hair and stopped their hair going grey.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, it can be used the reverse way around. And that is that you can reverse the unwelcoming greying process.
Yeah, but you see, I don't think it is unwelcoming. That's my point.
Well, most people don't like going grey in their old age. Most people like to, yeah. Well, why do you think people like Paul McCartney at the age of 70?
But he should stop dyeing his hair.
Suddenly start dyeing their hair.
Because he looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because you have an older face.
Yeah.
And if you have an older face, then if you have jet black hair, it looks wrong.
Yes.
I mean, like, you end up looking like, what's his name? The guy that ended up going to jail for murder over in... the record producer. Phil Spector.
Yeah, Phil Spector. He wore a wig every day.
Totally ridiculous.
Yeah. But anyway, the thing is, scientists have identified the gene, and they can now take the gene out so you don't go grey.
Wouldn't they be better off finding the gene for baldness, which affects more people, I would say, than the greyness?
Maybe they can't find the gene for baldness because it's not...
not immediately available.
No, from the DNA that they've isolated now, we can deal with the hair colour, and we could even deal with eye colour.
Eye colour?
Eye colour. Yeah? How about
why
that?
would you want to change your eye colour?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Really.
I'm not sure that's a very good idea, either.
The gene is called IRF4. It's been identified as being involved in producing hair colour. Does this by controlling the production and storage of the pigment melanin. And the fact that it is also associated with greying is not surprising because melanin is absent in grey hair.
Oh, really?
But it was the first time that any such gene had been found. It's good, says Des Tobin, Professor of Cell Biology at the University of Bradford.
All right. Moral has tweeted and he says, please get Porky to say co-op again.
The co-op?
The co-op.
Yeah, what's wrong with the co-op?
It's amazing, he says.
My mum's been shopping at the co-op since I was a toddler, right?
Co-op?
Used to get the divvy. You know, you used to get the divvy.
Yeah, but if you
That's where the word divvy came from.
Is it?
Yeah. Used to get
why
the
does
co-op
it mean
divvy.
it's a bad person then, or a stupid person?
I don't know, but because stupid people, I suppose, used to shop at the co-op in Rochdale where it was founded.
Not that you're in any way snobbish.
Don't forget to come back tomorrow for another sparkling, as fizzy as a bottle of champagne, podcast.
From 1am on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM and via the TalkSport app. TalkSport, your Premier League station with exclusive commentaries every weekend.
What an absolute corker!
TalkSport.
I thought she was brilliant in that film.
Yeah. Which one?
Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to work out which one that was. That wasn't Notting Hill.